the A's, the B's, and the C's of the Minto Cup last night. The A's had their A game. Will Burnaby be as bad as they were last night? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Coming up next, game number 4 of the 2001 Minto Cup, live from the Jack Gatecliff Garden City Arena in St. Catharines. As mentioned, the A's certainly had their A game last night as they get their first win of the 2001 Minto Cup in fine form. 10-5 the final score. Burnaby still leads the best-of-7 series 2-1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Jack Gatecliff Garden City Arena. And game number 4, Derek Wills alongside Andrew McKay. Chris Drennan will join us later on tonight. Andrew, I think we were both shocked to see the St. Catharines A's the way they came out last night. That offense we remember from the regular season and playoffs in the OLA certainly showed up last night.
I was a little more surprised that it hadn't shown up in the first 2 games. It's a welcome relief to see it finally rear its ugly head, so to speak. In the first period, a 6-1 lead kind of erased all the doubts in the St. Catharines offense. Some of their greater guys, Craig Kahn, Sean Greenhall, got on track a bit, started to fill the net up. They got Burnaby goalies thinking. A good start for St. Catharines, and I think they got a bit more confidence coming into tonight now.
Speaking of Craig Kahn, of course we jinxed ourselves before last night's game, saying that Craig wasn't getting on the score sheet enough. Well, 2 goals and 5 penalties later, Craig Kahn is on the score sheet plenty, and I was glad to see Craig Kahn on the score sheet, even those 5 penalties, because they weren't costly penalties. They were penalties that got his team going.
The question tonight is going to be whether he can avoid them, because as we've seen, every once in a while he has those games, and they don't hurt him that much, but he can't have 2 of them in a row. And so tonight, if he gets 5 penalties, I have a feeling that's going to be a very bad thing for the Athletics. So what he wants to avoid, he wants to let Nick Farina, number 9 for Burnaby, who was hounding him a lot last night, to keep pounding on him, let Farina pick up the penalties, and instead just walk away from it, turn it into power plays, have Kahn get 4 or 5 goals, 9 or 10 points. I think everybody would be happy.
Well, I spoke to Craig Kahn before the game. He had his Hulk Rules gold and red t-shirt on, and he certainly was ready to go tonight, but he promised me he wouldn't be taking 5 penalties again, so we'll keep a close eye on Craig Kahn. The other story we followed last night was the goaltending situation. Obviously, Matt Vince, another strong performance, but a little bit of a question mark heading into tonight's game number 4 for the Burnaby Lakers. Andrew Leishon played so well in games number 1 and 2, stopping 107 A's shots. Game number 3, a bit different story. He got off to a good start, but Nick Patterson came in period number 2 to replace him, and Patterson played pretty well.
Well, you have to think, although Patterson did have a good game and ended up being the Burnaby star of the game, you have to think it helps the A's a lot that coming into this game, you're not sure who's going to be the starter yet. You can't really tell who they're going to put in. Do you put in the guy who came in and basically saved your bacon for 2 periods as the Burnaby Lakers played St. Catharines even for the last 2 periods? Or do you put in the guy that got you here through the first 2 games and got you the series lead? And that helps in the A's favor, I think, because right now these 2 goalies, while they might know, they both know that one little bit of a hiccup and they're coming out. And the A's now know that they can get to both of them, and they're just as happy to get to the backup whether he played well or not last night. So I think that's going to play into their favor as well.
My gut feeling is it will be Leishon tonight. We'll have to wait and see, though. It's going to be a very exciting game 4, the most pivotal game in the series. If the Lakers win, they take a 3-1 stranglehold and have 3 opportunities to win the Minto Cup. If the A's win, we've got a whole new series, a best-of-3. It's going to be a great night tonight from the Jack Gatecliff Garden City Arena in St. Catharines. Coming up next, live, it's game number 4 of the 2001 Minto Cup. Stay with us.
We're Cogeco, your cable company, and we bring you a whole lot of entertaining and exciting programs from around the world. But you've told us that all your local news, weather, sports, and community events are just as important to you. And so we work hard to make sure that you always have the best of both, from around the world and around the corner. After all, Isn't that the beauty of having cable in the first place? Cogeco, taking you there.
Game 1 of the 2001 Minto Cup was an 8-7 double overtime victory for the Burnaby Lakers. Game number 2, a 6-4 victory for the Lakers, but game number 3, a totally different story, a 10-5 triumph for the St. Catharines Athletics. Derek Wills alongside Andrew McKay and Chris Drennan. And Andrew, we saw a much different St. Catharines team last night than we did in games 1 and 2. What team are we going to see tonight?
Well, if the first 12 seconds have any indication, I think we're going to see much of what we saw last night. As soon as the anthem ended, I looked at the two benches. St. Catharines jumping up and down, making some noise. Burnaby not doing much of anything. Burnaby might be a bit nervous going into this.
St. Catharines wearing the road blue jerseys will move from right to left on your television here in the opening period. Burnaby wearing the home whites will move from left to right. Quick shot immediately at the start of the opening period, just 15 seconds in, but it was wide of the front near post. Now far side, Hansen moving it around, trying to get around Bowman. And we've got a loose helmet on the floor. John Donnelly not at all happy as he gives Taylor Ray a couple of whacks. A's move it back up the floor and will make a line change. Here's Craig Kahn, 2 goals and 5 penalties last night as he ejected in the third period. Here he comes again, quick shot. That one just missed the near post. Loose ball comes over top of the glass and out of play just outside the Burnaby bench. 19:20 now to go in the opening period. Still no score in game number 4. Here's Lindsay Plunkett. Got the knee socks on, white. Tonight they've got matching these socks at least, Andrew.
Well, if they were matching, they should be green for the road uniforms, I think. But no, he still looks silly.
I'll have to agree on that one. Hayes right back up over mid-floor. Here's Sean Greenhall. Seems to have adopted the Mark Steenhouse fashion rules. He's got that neon green shirt underneath. Quick shot by Kevin Dean from the low slot. Rebound loose inside the Burnaby end, but it's going to be St. Catharines' ball. And the A's are going to have a new shot clock. Bowman in the corner, gets it back up high. Now Steenhouse looking for a lane to the net. Steenhouse scored 3 goals and added 3 assists last night in winning the Gatters Pro Shop Warrior Lacrosse Player of the Game. And he scored that one beauty, Andrew. Remember? He was in a circle of about 3 guys, all in green jerseys. Somehow, the guy in the white jersey popped out, ran around for about another 30 seconds, and then fired it in, and it was all shorthanded.
That was a nice play, and speaking of shorthanded, tonight's a totally different game. We were talking about Nick Farina being all over Craig Kahn. They put him on Greenhall tonight. Farina gives Greenhall, or not Greenhall, Steenhouse, a couple of quick shots. Steenhouse retaliates with a slash. He gets 2 minutes. First power play of the game to Burnaby. Not a smart play there by Mark.
We'll keep a close eye on the face-offs tonight. Russell has had a huge edge over the Burnaby captain, Miyashita. We'll see who wins this one inside the Lakers' end. And it's Russell, but the Lakers were able to grab it. Here's Jeff Snyder. He'll work it ahead. Now the captain, Miyashita, walks it over top of mid-floor. 1:50 to go in the Burnaby power play. 18:20 to go in the opening period. We're still tied at no score. Here's Brown. Near circle, back up high, Olsen. Now Miyashita gets it back into the corner. Gets a return feed, fires it over to Olsen. Olsen, Miyashita play give and go. Brown down low, now Plunkett looking for a shot. He tried bouncing it inside that far post, but it was way wide, and the A's will take over.
It's something to point out here. Jeff Snyder heading out on the floor again. Now, this interpretation wasn't completely clear before the game. However, the general interpretation was if you get a misconduct in the last 10 minutes of a game, you're suspended for the next game. Jeff Snyder got one at the end of last night's game. It's the St. Catharines' opinion, unless it's changed in the last half hour, that he's ineligible to play. And this may lead to some kind of controversy later on, unless they've managed to talk to the CLA reps and get this figured out. But this could lead to a bit of a headache later on.
We should also mention a couple of lineup changes today. Mike Longboat will most likely not return for the rest of the series. Don Smith telling me before tonight's game that Longboat is playing at about 75%, and that is just not good enough against the Western champion Burnaby Lakers. So Tony Printup enters the lineup once again. And for the Lakers, Milan Gaitchu, you remember, went down with a knee injury last night. As the A's come in, Panicia fires it inside the far post, and St. Catharines has a 1-0 lead.
You understand who was on the power play there? That was actually Burnaby. The entire minute, 23 seconds up to here takes place basically in the Burnaby end. And now here's Kahn feeding Panicia, getting a bit of a tackle, but he throws it past Leishon. 2 minutes and 50 seconds in, St. Catharines gets the lead, get this building going again, which is what they wanted to do after last night's performance. Get this crowd back into it right away.
Big goal for the A's, 2:50 in. And St. Catharines, shorthanded, takes the lead 1-0. Quickly back to my thoughts on Milan Gaitch before I was really interrupted by a St. Catharines goal. Gaitch went down with that knee injury last night, and it looked pretty harmless when it happened, but he was carried off by 3 teammates, ended up going to the hospital. He's out for the series with a sprained knee, so not good news when you lose one of your assistant captains.
No, however, that means I'm good at analyzing, because I asked him if it was a sprain, and he said, no, it's much, much worse. So, unfortunately, you hate to see him to get hurt, but hopefully it's just a short-term injury, even if that short-term is for the next 5 days.
Loose ball up the near side. The power play has expired for the Lakers. We're back to 5-on-5 with 16:25 to go in the opening period. Now Steenhouse steals. He'll quickly head back down the floor. Mark Steenhouse with an outstanding game last night. Posts himself up near circle. Looks for a lane towards the net. Wires a shot in. And I'll tell you what, Andrew Leishon had no idea where that ball was. Lucky for him, it got caught underneath his left hand.
Good thing for him, because the last thing you want to do is let in a couple of goals in the first 4 minutes, shake that already possibly fragile confidence after last night.
Another penalty on the way. I believe this time it will go against Dan Bowman. So 2 power plays so far tonight, both of them going to the Burnaby Lakers.
And the coaching staff is not happy about this for St. Catharines, as we had a play similar to that down in front of the Burnaby end that didn't get called. Bill Fox calls Bowman for taking down Kevin Fines, and this is not the kind of start that St. Catharines wants, the 1 goal notwithstanding.
Andrew, you remember last night I asked Don Smith what he thought was going to happen. He said, Derek, I guarantee a victory tonight. I got a chance to speak to him about that before tonight's game.
It's hard to explain why we felt so strongly about it, but we did. The kids weren't demoralized. We gave them Saturday night off, Sunday off. They came back really ready to play. We felt like we'd played well in the first 2 games. We just weren't finishing. We hadn't quite hit our stride. Talked with a few individual players about refocusing, because didn't think we were playing quite as sharp as we were at the end of the OLA playoffs. The 10 days off had hurt some individuals more than others, and the guys that we talked to really responded. Mark Steinhaus was one of them. I told him before the game I wanted him to take 20 shots, and he came through with 3 goals, so couldn't have worked out better.
Obviously, it's a good punch there right on the top of the crease, but
15:44 now to go in the opening period. As we return to the Jack Gatecliff Garden City Arena, A's leading 1-0. Still 1:40 to go, though, in the Dan Bowman penalty. Olsen far side. Playing give and go. Gets it back up high. Looking for a man near side. Brown gets it. Fires it into the corner. Plunkett tried centering it in front. Olsen will pick up the loose ball up along the far boards. Now 1:24 to go in the power play. Olsen winds one in. Rebound back to Brown. He fires it, trying to pick that top corner. But that will do it for the Burnaby shot clock, so St. Catharines will take over with 1:17 to go in the penalty.
Burnaby with a lot of offensive chances there. Unfortunately, a lot of the shots firing either wide or high over the net, so kind of a harmless possession here, but now St. Catharines turns the ball back over. Burnaby's getting another chance.
Lakers back up the floor. 1 minute to go in their power play, their second man advantage situation of the night. They weren't able to capitalize on the first one, and they allowed a short-handed goal, so the power play not working yet for the Lakers here in Game 4. We'll see if they can get going with 47 seconds now to go. Here's Ray in front, makes a couple of moves. Loose ball, though, as it's poked away by Rory Glaves. Nice job by the A's defender. Up along the near boards, Greg Flores in there trying to pound it free, and Again, the shot clock winds down on the Lakers, and they're taking far too much time on the power play here, Andrew. We'll give some credit to the A's, though, because they're doing a great job keeping Burnaby to the outside.
Much better job on that second one and not giving them much to do.
Here's Billy D. Smith again, utilizing that tremendous speed. Scored a beautiful goal with some great running down the far side last night. It was a big goal for the A's, as a matter of fact. Now here's Steenhuis. He's got some speed as well. Streaks it in behind the net. And every time you see Mark Steenhuis in the penalty kill, it's fun because he can rag that ball better than anybody else. Two guys on Steenhuis, finally lets it go. Now a short 3-on-3. Greenhall tried hitting Parecchia, who came streaking towards the goal. Now rebound, here's Tim Ham near side. Tried to go down low inside the right foot. But the ball bounces back into the near corner. We've got a little scrum developing, but nothing will result of that. Mark Steenhuis will be given possession. Athletics have killed off the penalty, so we're back to 5-on-5 once again with 13:40 to go in the opening period. Here's Tim Ham, up high, drops it off to Craig Kahn. Kahn looking for some room. He'll decide to fire it over to Greenhall on the right wing. Greenhall tried bouncing one in. That one was way wide. Rebound all the way back down the floor. Matt Vince again wandering around like a vagabond. Gets away with it though and gets it ahead to Greenhall. Greenhall in hand, shoots and scores! Oh my, what a shot by Tim Ham. It was a backhander, 5-hole on the isolation, and the A's lead it 2-0 as a bit of a melee ensues, Andrew.
That's some fun stuff afterwards. Michael Kilby going after Tim Ham for scoring a goal. And now Nick Farina looking for somebody to dance with over there. Billy D. Smith is going after. Now we got Jay Levette going after Snyder. So this is all kinds of fun stuff going on here.
Now Kahn's involved here.
Unfortunately,
They've got to
this
get
is Tim
Craig Kahn
Ham's
out of
prettiest goal in history, and it's kind of getting sullied by what's going on afterwards here. They got to get Kahn back to the bench, and Matt Skinner, oddly enough, is doing a very good job of that. Kahn's going right back to the bench. As do the quick math here, they've got 5 Burnaby players on the floor and about 12 St. Catharines players. It's not a good setup going on here. Tim Ham not happy here.
Well, I'll tell you what, Andrew, if the Lakers are frustrated, 6 minutes and 44 seconds into game number 4, they're done.
Matt Skinner now running out looking for spare stick. Tim Ham's just looking, and he's trying to get his players away, but you can tell he's frustrated as well about what happened there. It's really too bad because Tim Ham scored some very important goals for this team. That's the prettiest goal I've ever seen him score. Take those 2 steps, flip backwards. Leishon had no idea where the ball was coming from. And his dad is actually in the building now, so I'm pretty sure he enjoyed that as well. I had a pleasure to chat with him before the game, too. So you get these penalties sorted out here. And now we'll get another look at the goal here as we saw the confusion going on afterwards.
I could look at this all
right
night
down
long.
to Ham, and Ham on his right side instead turns around quickly, just flings it backwards, and Leishon getting ready on his left side for that ball to come in, instead beats him right through about the 5-hole. And heck of a goal by Tim Ham.
13:16 to go in the opening period. A's lead 2-0. Power plays 2-0 in favor of the Lakers. So obviously St. Catharines and the coaching staff for the A's has to be very happy, but they're a bit upset right now because Burnaby lost their cool after that last St. Catharines goal.
Well, yeah, Burnaby can't afford to have this going on here. Have their guys starting to lose their temper already and start doing silly stuff. And so for the coaches, I mean, yeah, you're only losing Michael Kilby. He's a good player, but not pivotal. But more importantly, it's after the play's already finished, and you don't want to be getting yourself into situations where you're hurting your team when it comes after the play. So Burnaby's going to be looking to settle these guys down a bit and say, play the game on the floor between the whistles. That's the most important part.
Billy D. Smith in the penalty box for St. Catharines, so I would say pretty good trade-off for the Burnaby Lakers. We'll see whether or not this stoppage in play will settle Burnaby down. They need something to calm down their emotions. Obviously, St. Catharines has had 2 penalties so far in the opening period, but they've scored the game's only 2 goals. One of those goals coming short-handed, Andrew, and what a great boost that is early on in game number 4.
They got to be pretty happy in the first 6.5 minutes. You score 2 goals, one of them are shorthanded. You kill off 2 penalties. You can't really ask for much more than this. Burnaby, through 2 power plays, has had about 2 decent scoring chances on Matt Vince. One they fired high over the net with about 3 seconds left in the shot clock. The other one went wide to his left. So they got to be fairly happy with how this is setting up so far and keep taking advantage of it like they did last night.
Fairly happy. I'd be very happy if I was Don Smith.
Well, it's the first period still. You're very happy in the second.
Okay.
And extremely excited in the third.
We've got Andrew McKay's 10-minute rule.
Well, much
now
like-
we've got Andrews McKay word rule.
Okay, so Burnaby right now would be slightly disappointed, at which point in the second period they'd be upset. In the third period they'd be agitated.
I hope
that
everybody's
works?
writing these down.
I hope you are.
I don't have a pen.
If you're taping these games, the Andrew McKay Verbal Dictionary is copyrighted.
Face off, this time won by Miyashita, back into his own end. Picked up deep inside the Burnaby zone by Curtis Hodgson. Pass ahead to center was over top of Hansen, so it comes loose into the near corner. Rory Glaves will corral it for the A's. Exactly 13 minutes to go in the opening period. We're playing 4-on-4 right now as we've got a couple of offsetting penalties. St. Catharines has been dangerous shorthanded, even strength. We'll see what they can do 4-on-4. Here's Mike Hominack being cross-checked down to the ground by Miyashita. And a possession foul coming up against Burnaby right here, so St. Catharines will take over. 1:27 still remaining in the offsetting penalties. Here's Mike Hominack, far side, gets it up high, Con, near side now for Panicia. Panicia has played very well so far in the first 3 games of this series. Gets it back over to Con. Not looking for something, but we've got another stoppage in play. Miyashita and Hominack were tied up in the low slot, and it looks as though Hominack's going to get a penalty. Well, Miyashita's going to go too.
If there are any questions about whether Getty, the Western referee, was being a homer towards Burnaby, we've got Hominack going in for the slash. And basically what happened there is every time he got up, Miyashita cross-checked him right back down to the ground, and not the legal kind either, and he got him about 4 different times. And Hominack ended up with a penalty as well there, so we got 3-on-3, which bodes well for St. Catharines here.
Some of you may notice we have a different referee out on the floor tonight. Andrew will try to explain later on what happened. It's an unfortunate incident. Back up along the near side. Here come the Lakers. Lots of guys in the penalty box so far tonight. We've only played 8 minutes. Ball into the near corner. Gray takes it in behind the St. Catharines net. Sneaks out the far side. Tried the wraparound. Loose ball up along the near boards. A's fighting for it, but it's going to be Burnaby ball. Matt Skinner out there, he's feisty as usual. Lakers trying to get onto the scoreboard here. 3-on-3, lots of room out on the floor. I'm surprised we don't see Craig Conn, Andrew.
Plunkett trying to get in there, and nobody seems quite sure where that ball ended up. Must be tied up in Vince somewhere. And he's looking behind the net, they can't find it. Burnaby fans getting a bit excited there, but they have no idea where the ball is.
Didn't you tell me that you're good at playing I Spy?
Well, yeah, there's 14 guys standing in front of it. They have no idea where the ball is.
Andrew has the complete collection of Where's Waldo books.
Yeah, but they only take 4 seconds to get through all of them, so what's the point?
Andrew might not be able to play sports, but he can certainly master those Where's Waldo books.
I hurt myself on a Waldo book too once.
Oh, God.
And now we've got a shot after the whistle there by, I think that's Jamie Plunkett. Plunkett trying to run after the ball. As if he's on a breakaway, when actually he should probably be ending up with a penalty here.
Craig Conn's going to be the one getting the penalty.
And this is pretty silly considering that Jamie Plunkett took that extra shot against the player, St. Catharines player, right down in front of the net. Conn's really got to settle himself down now. I know he's really starting to get into this series, starting to get some emotion going, but he needs to be on the floor. And he can't start taking stuff like that after the play either. We were mentioning before, you know, and he really can't be getting into these kinds of situations yet.
For those of you counting, that's penalty number 1 for Craig Conn. We'll see if he can match last night's total. A's fans are hoping not. Matt Vince will grab the ball deep in his own zone, fires it up along the far side. Here's Rory Glaves. Burnaby right now going to be playing with the power play for the next 1:51. Right now it's a 4-on-3. It will turn into a 5-on-4 in 36 seconds.
Lakers down the floor, trailing 2-0. Here's Brown, top of the near circle, looking for a lane, gets it near side, plunk it in close, but he stepped into the St. Catharines crease, so
Another mistake by the Lakers early on, and St. Catharines will take over.
Puckett, I think, lost track of where he was down towards the net, and maybe hoped that the referee was on the other side and wouldn't quite notice the extra step.
Now Greg Flores losing control of that ball, comes loose, picked up by Jeff Snyder, gets it quickly down the floor, sneaking in, Hodgson makes the move, but Matty Vince comes up with a big save. Lakers, though, able to grab the rebound. Here's Snyder. Up high to Fines, and we know Kevin Fines played with a lot of enthusiasm last night. This is his first shift of game number 4. Now Binning, back to Fines, up high Miyashita. Back to Binning near circle. Now Miyashita makes a move around Smith, tried to get the shot away. It was deflected wide of the near post. Binning sneaks in, wires one to the 5-hole, but again, Matty Vince able to close it up and make the stop. Lead pass down the floor for Mike Steenhouse. Mark Steenhouse stopping just outside the St. Catharines bench, has it knocked away. Benicia there to try to corral it. We're now at the midway point of period number 1, and the Lakers will grab it and head down the floor. Actually, no, they won't. Taylor Ray will carry it up for Burnaby, fires it into the far corner, gets the return feed inside the far circle. Burnaby trying to move that ball around, not doing a great job though, Andrew, and they can be as fancy as they want, but they've got to get some shots away, and they've got to get some shots away on Matt Vince.
Not much going here on the power play, that's for sure. Not taking advantage of their best opportunity of the game.
Now a 5-on-4 power play. Brown tried winding one in down low, but Rory Glaves got in the way. Now here's John Donnelly. John Smith told me before the game that he has instructed his defensemen to keep running until they wind up in front of a Burnaby Laker. Now, I think that's why we saw Billy D. Smith score a goal last night. And I think that's why St. Catharines has had a bit more room on offense, because Burnaby has to be leery that the defensemen are going to come rushing in.
Beautiful penalty kill by the Mark Steenhouse. Held onto the ball until there was exactly enough time and the penalty to run out. Now, you know, Greg Kahn's still in the box. I think he might have ended up with a misconduct here, too.
8:57 is the time to go here in the first period. And a very flamboyant crowd here at the Jack Gatecliff Garden City Arena cheering the A's first power play of the night, which is up and coming. Taylor Ray, who had some problems keeping his composure last night, heads to the penalty box. So St. Catharines heads to their first power play of the night, leading 2-0.
Well, Burnaby's had their chances so far here, 10 minutes and 3 seconds, or 11 minutes and 3 seconds into the first period. They've had their chances, couldn't take advantage of them. We'll see how St. Catharines can do now.
Greenhall works it far side, Hominick. Mike Hominick, Sean Greenhall, Kevin Dean, Tony Printup, and Mark Benicia, the 5-man unit. I'm sure we'll see Craig Kahn on there if he does make his way out of the box, which might not happen. Looks like a 10 at this point. Loose ball into the corner. A's have a new shot clock. Kevin Dean chasing it down. Comes available into the high slot. Benicia trying to grab it, taking mad whacks at it, with Mark Miyashita able to grab that loose ball as he heads right back down to mid-floor. Lead pass ahead. Here comes Geitz, takes the shot, but he fired it over top of the crossbar, and Matt Vince is not giving the shooters very much room. Back down the floor, here's Kevin Dean. Nearly stripped of the ball by Binning. Dean gets it back. He'll drop it off. St. Catharines switching up the power play unit. Coming onto the floor now, Jim Ham. Up high, here's Greenhall, gets it near side. Tony Printup tried winding one in. Ham able to grab the rebound and the shot clock for the A's. Greenhall lets one go, but Leishon able to make the save. Lead pass down the floor. Here's Gary Binning, spins loose, has some room, takes the shot, but again, the Lakers cannot find the net.
Good hustle back by Steenhouse, put some pressure on Gary Binning there. Binning had to make a couple of moves. He stepped around Steenhouse, but he had to force the shot after missing the initial breakout pass. And a good pickup by Flores, too, then, to kind of quelch that chance.
A's will continue on the power play for the next 28 seconds. Here's Greenhall. Far side, gets it back from Hominick. Greenhall winds it in and scores! Sean Greenhall, with one of those patented bounce shots, has given the A's a 3-0 lead.
I'm not going to pretend I'm psychic or anything here, but Greenhall got that ball up at the top. And you can see he takes those couple of steps towards the net. And Jeff Snyder, who's on him, buys the fake and moves over a bit to the right. Sorry, that's Hansen. And Greenhall gets a little bit of a shot and actually wires it right over Leishon's right shoulder. The one thing about Greenhall is he'll pass the ball around and put the fakes on, but if you buy the fake and give enough room to shoot with, he's going to pick that hole every time.
I stand corrected, Andrew. It wasn't a bounce shot. It was a direct shot right into the top corner, and a beauty at that. And the A's lead it 3-0. Visions of what we saw here in Game 3. Now Craig Kahn out of the penalty box, so if it was a 10-minute misconduct, it was a short 10 minutes. I'm not sure what it was exactly.
Well, according to our intrepid investigative reporter, Chris Drennan, what it was because of the mess in the box, although they had the penalty kill, because there were 3 guys in the box, Craig Kahn had to wait for the first face-off to come after his penalty was over, as the second St. Catharines player served the rest of his penalty before he could come out. So Craig was just waiting for a face-off, so that's better. At least it's only 1 penalty so far.
Don Smith also said to me before tonight's game, I had a lengthy conversation with him, that if Burnaby comes out tonight and decides to goon it up, that's the exact phrase that he used, we're going to show them how to play lacrosse. Now, Don Smith, he's a very confident guy. We know that. We learned that last night with his prediction and his guaranteed win. And so far, Burnaby's come out, and they got a bit frustrated early on, Andrew. They've tried to goon it up now. St. Catharines is leading 3-0. They've got another power play on the way. And what Don Smith also said following those comments was, Derek, if they try to goon it up, it tells me that they've given up. I don't know if they've given up, but certainly they look flustered right now.
Certainly they're playing a much different game than we saw in the first 2 games. Coming into last night, we had a completely different impression of this Burnaby Lakers team from what we've seen the last couple of nights. So far, I mean, we're only 13 minutes and 7 seconds into the first period here, but so far it's not boding well at all.
Before the game, I also spoke with Craig Kahn, asked him if the heightened enthusiasm that the A's showed last night was the main reason for victory.
We came out, we were ready to play yesterday. We got out to a quick start. Key for us to get a quick start on the team. Been proven throughout the playoffs. We got 2 quick goals, and we kept on rolling from there.
And we've got a little conference call down here as Snyder tried to put his arm around Jamie Flores. Flores gave him a little right hand for his efforts.
They've been doing some jostling over there the entire time, and Getty, the Western referee, had to step in and tell the two to chill out of it, take it easy. So I think
I find it
Snyder's
kind of funny that he put his arm around.
you notice how effective that was, where they haven't stopped talking yet. You know, the second the spaceoff goes, one of them's whacking the other one right across the shins.
No doubt about
This
it.
is not hard to predict.
Rory Glaves, though, he's listening closely to this seated conversation. Face-off will go to the right of the Burnaby goal. 6:53 is the time remaining in the opening period of game number 4. Athletics leading 3-0 and about to head through yet another power play. Derek Wills alongside Andrew McKay and Chris Drennan for the call live on Cogeco TV 10. We will have games 5, 6, 7 if necessary. We know we're going to at least 6 if the A's win tonight, Andrew.
Yeah, and canceling my vacation plans, by the way, which I would be happy to cancel. However, I was expecting the A's to take this in 4, so that's not true, but I had some tentative plans to go away this weekend, and I will be, but I'll be going away to St. Catharines. I figured after last weekend, the trip's so nice, I'll do it twice.
Andrew, in case you're wondering, was planning on taking a cruise down to the beautiful and scenic Buffalo, New York.
No, New York
Taking
City.
a ride on the
New
Metro.
York City makes Buffalo look like St. Catharines.
What does that mean?
There's a park there somewhere, but it's in Long Island. You're gonna take like an hour and a half drive out east, get on a boat, catch a flight, and then you can find some grass. So.
You got Central Park in New York. Why don't you go hang out there at night?
I actually used to. That's how brave I was when I was 21.
Really?
Rollerblading at 3 in the morning in Central Park.
Genius.
I was such an idiot.
You should probably wear some gold and have money hanging out of your back pocket as well.
Oh, definitely. To start yelling, can somebody show me where the Empire State Building is?
Maybe you should wear a pink headband as well. 6:40 to go in the opening period. Athletics up 3-0. They'll move it into the far corner as they continue on the power play for the next 140. Greenhall, far side to Hominick, now down low. Here's Kevin Dean, gets it back high. Greenhall gets it near side now. Benicia back to Greenhall. He widens the shot in right off the back of the head of Taylor Ray. So I guess what we said last night is when things aren't going right, things aren't going right. Shots are no longer going off an elbow pad or a shoulder pad. They're going off the back of Taylor Ray's head.
Well, there's a joke in there about using your head for something, but I'm not going to use it.
Let's not. Fight for the ball, left center. Deitch gives it away. Here comes Steenhouse. Mark Steenhouse fakes, shoots, scores!
Andrew Lachon looking at his defense right now. He's not happy. Having words there with number 6, Curtis Hodgson. Lachon just got totally deserted there. You can see Steenhouse has the entire length of the floor to come in, and now 1, 2, 3 goes down low. By then, Lachon's starting to move back a bit, realizing which way Steenhouse is going. A 4-0 lead, 6 minutes left. Exactly not the start that Burnaby wanted to start this game.
Andrew Lachon must be wondering where his defense wandered off to on that play. Maybe they decided to take a trip to New York City because they certainly were nowhere to be found.
This reminds me of Ron Hextall against the Edmonton Oilers as the goaltender for the Philadelphia Flyers.
I know where
Hextall just stood on his head. He was absolutely amazing. And they still lost the series because nobody else on the team could do anything when it mattered. In the last 2 games, that's what's happening. It's been happening to Andrew Lachon. None of these goals are his fault.
1985 Stanley Cup. 1987. That was a brutal Philadelphia team. I don't mean brutal as in bad. I mean brutal as in it wasn't the Broad Street Bullies of the 70s, but they were very tough and very mean. The Oilers, of course.
I believe Ken Linsman was the most sportsmanlike player on that team.
The Oilers, of course, probably had the most talented team in the history of the National Hockey League that year. 87 was the second to last year. Wayne Gretzky was in town. What was the date he was traded, Andrew? There's a little trivia for you.
It was in 1989. No, back to lacrosse.
It wasn't actually in 1989.
No, it was July of '88.
August 9th, 1988. I cried like a little girl that day.
This Hockey Hall of Fame moment brought to you by Derek Wills.
Here come the Lakers trying to get on the board. Under 5 minutes to go now in the opening period. Quick shot in, Vince again. Remains perfect on the night. Has the shutout intact. A's have a very commanding lead. 4-0 looks familiar, Andrew.
Now the question is going to be whether they can extend that lead instead of giving up a couple of goals here, turning it into a different game by the end of the period.
Burnaby looks tired or something. There's something different about this team in the last couple of nights than what we saw in games 1 and 2.
Although they have in the last couple of minutes been moving into the St. Catharines and a bit longer, so that might be a harbinger. Well, whoever that was, he's not happy.
Here's Kahn being hammered down. As a matter of fact, Flores took a big shot. He took a couple more shots when he was down. And Jamie Flores is a big, tough guy. He's not going to go down easily. He did go down. He's up. So that's good news for the A's, but we've got a stoppage in play. I believe a penalty on the way.
No, but there should be. Nick Farina, Bill Fox missed this one. Nick Farina, as Flores was down, and I'm not sure what led to him being down, but Farina took the advantage of his right toe, I believe it was, being placed in close proximity to Flores. His head gave him a bit of a kick in the head. And this is not the kind of stuff you want to be getting into, and certainly not the kind of stuff you want them missing, because now Farina's going to try it again later, and it might connect a bit harder and actually lead to an injury.
A punch is one thing, a kick's another. Lead pass down the floor. Here come the Lakers. Kick shot. No! Matty Vince comes up with the ball. He doesn't know where it is. He doesn't care. He knows he made the save and kept the shutout alive, Andrew.
And just for good measure, Matt Skinner sends Hodgson flying to the ground afterwards. Vince doing it tonight with kind of trying to find the ball instead of it running off the post, so that's a good start for him.
And of course, as predicted, I talked to Mrs. Vince before the game. I always have a nightly conversation with Mrs. Vince. She's so pleasant to talk to.
She wasn't mad at me tonight.
That's good. It's because they won last night. But I said, hey, Matty got some help from those goalposts last night, and she said exactly what you said she was going to say, and that was?
He knew exactly where the posts were, and he uses them as part of his equipment.
Very good. Back down the floor. Here's Mark Steenhouse, has been the offensive star in the last couple of games for the A's. We'll see if that continues on this rush. 3:10 to go in the period. St. Catharines leading 4-0. Steenhouse quick shot, missed the near post. Rebound all the way back out, and guess who's got it? Steenhouse again. This time, though, his pass down low to Tim Ham was intercepted by Snyder. Snyder quickly gets it over to the near side as the Lakers head right back down the floor. Here's Gwindon, seeing his first action tonight. Spins into the near corner, stops in the near circle, drops it back off into the corner. Lakers having lots of problems penetrating that St. Catharines defense. Lindsey Plunkett tried a quick little turnaround shot, but Vince again was there to make the stop, as the A's will control it over top of mid-floor with under 2.5 minutes to go in the opening period. A's have possession now in the offensive zone. Here's Russell, gets it far side. Now Mike Hominick as we welcome Chris Strennan to the booth. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Derek, how's it going?
Oh, peachy.
Exactly.
Here's Benicia, trying to sneak around, loses his footing, gets right back up as the shot clock expires. He lets it go. Quite a bit too late. Good performance so far, I think you could say, for the A's.
Well, not the offensive output that they were looking at last night, but still 4 goals in the first period. That's nothing to sneeze at.
Certainly isn't. Penalty on the way against the Athletics. Levesque having to retrieve his helmet from the floor, and now Donnelly, and this is not the unit you wanted to get into a fight with. If you're going to try to fight St. Catharines, you do it when Craig Kahn and the offensive players like Sean Greenhall and Mark Steenhouse are on the floor, not Jay Levesque and John Donnelly and Billy D. Smith and Matt Skinner and Pat Russell. Those are the wrong 5 guys to fight.
Oh, definitely. Those are the 5 guys that you definitely do not want to have a line brawl against. I've seen all of those guys drop the gloves and throw them, with the exception of Patty Russell. But you know, that is the toughest line for the Athletics. Patty Russell has not dropped the gloves in his 3 years of Junior A lacrosse, and I mean, I'm just waiting for him to do it, because I know for a fact that when he does, he will wreck whoever he is fighting. But we have Donnelly and Levesque in the box for St. Catharines. And I didn't catch the Burnaby player in the penalty box, but we're going to be playing 4-on-3 in Burnaby's favor.
Chris, were you around in 1947?
I'm going to have to go with a big no.
Well, if you didn't know, the St. Catharines Athletics won the Minto Cup in 1947, so you'll be able to learn a bit more about that in our first intermission. We'll have a special feature on that 1947 championship team. Burnaby right now trying to become the 2001 championship team, but having some problems now in Game 4. They trail by 4, still trying to get on the board as Matt Vince keeps the shutout going. Pat Russell picks it up, tried getting it ahead to Greg Flores, but the pass was in behind him. Now he runs into Andrew Lachon in the far corner. Loose ball comes up to mid-floor. Hodgson chasing it down the right side. Has a man in front, gets it over, kick shot, and another big save by Matt Vince as he got the left arm out there to make the stop.
Well, fantastic save by Matt Vince. He stood on his head this period, and I think the score indicates that.
Here's Greenhall taking the shot. The backhander just missed. And what a beautiful tic-tac-toe cod to Steenhouse, to Greenhall, and they nearly had a 5-goal lead. Here come the Lakers right back down the floor. Half a minute to go in the opening period. Burnaby desperately needs something to take into the dressing room here. Quick shot by Olsen looking for the rebound, but Matt Vince able to scoop it up. Lead pass down the floor for Todd. Has it, takes the shot, and he just missed the far post. Greg Todd showing you just what presence he has on that floor. As that ball was off the edge of his stick, he ends up scooping it up, spinning that stick a little bit to prevent the Burnaby Laker defender from getting a hold of that ball. And just an unbelievable play by Craig Kahn. One of those little things that you might not notice all the time, but certainly is why Craig Kahn may be the best player in this series. And the St. Catharines Athletics have certainly been the best team in this game so far. Through 20 minutes, the A's a commanding 4-0 lead in Game 4. And St. Catharines' chances to tie this series up tonight certainly look dynamite right now.
Well, they definitely do, Derek. St. Catharines has been the better team. They've come out and they did the exact same thing they did last night. They brought the offense early on Lachon, got him off his game. As you can see on the on any of the goals, Lachon was not looking too steady, especially after that second goal. Lachon was looking very out of place, and even in the melee, he really didn't look like he wanted to get in net and reflect on what he'd done wrong. He looked like he wanted to get out there and start swinging, which isn't something you want to do if you're Andrew Leishon. You want to get in there and you want to think about what you're doing in there, what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. I think what Burnaby's going to have to do at this break is go in and just take a look at them, take a long look at themselves in the mirror, because they are not playing like the Burnaby team we saw Friday and Saturday night. They're playing disorganized, they're off their game, and this can only help St. Catharines in the long run.
Chris, I'm not sure that there are too many Burnaby Lakers that want to take a look at themselves in the mirror right now. I'm not sure they want to look at anybody at this point, and certainly Burnaby has one word that will determine whether or not they can make a comeback in this game. It's something they need to get back in the second and third periods, that word being focus. They don't have it right now.
Well, focus and discipline. I've noticed Burnaby is taking a lot of cheap shots. I've noticed Taylor Rye took a very, very stupid and selfish unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. You know, yapped at Fox until he basically invited Fox to give him the penalty, which can't help Burnaby at all. And I'm just impressed with the way St. Catharines has been playing. You'll notice they came out, you know, right off the bat, 2 quick goals to get Burnaby off their game. There's one thing I did notice last night from my vantage point. When Burnaby is behind, they start yapping at each other on the bench and they start nipping at each other on the bench. It's not a good scene. It's not a good scene. Last night, amazingly enough, their 4th loss of the season. That's regular season and playoffs included. So Burnaby's not adept at dealing with losing. So I think that did show last night in the way they played and the way they, well, basically their lack of discipline near the end of the game.
4-0 to score for the A's through 20 minutes. We'll now head down to the floor and join Andrew McKay. Andrew?
I'm joined now by Derek Moffat, assistant coach of the Burnaby Lakers. Derek, obviously down 4-0 after 1. Having a bit of trouble with these first periods these last couple of nights. What are you going to have to do to change that as the rest of the series goes along?
We have to work harder. Our boys, I don't know what's wrong with them right now. They just, I don't know if they thought that they had it in the bag after getting up 2-0 or not, but the effort is just not what we're used to seeing out of our players, and we expect much more out of them. The other team is outworking us, and their goaltending has been outstanding, as always.
Now, you mentioned being up 2-0, and now it's starting to tighten up a little more. Obviously, the first 2 games only decided by 3 goals. Maybe it's this kind of a period that you need for your team to realize it's going to be a much tighter series than maybe you thought it was going to be when you had the day off on Sunday.
Oh, definitely. I mean, if the guys don't realize now that we're in a series, they're never going to realize that we really have to pick up our act, and I think you'll see a much better effort out of us in the second and third period.
All right, well, good luck the rest of the way. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back right after this.
In 1947, Bill Bradshaw and Whitey Frick were 2 members of the Athletics' first Minto Cup championship. As Bradshaw explains, the A's weren't expected to get that far.
I think the consensus was that we shouldn't have even been in there. But we had a good series, a good playoff series with Brampton. They were probably the best team that we played all year. The West had a very strong team. We didn't quite know what we were up against, but we won it all.
54 years or so is a long time ago to remember. But no, we had some good lacrosse players on it too. We had a notable fellow on it, our former mayor, Joe McCaffrey. Joe played on it, and there's quite a few fellows went out to Harry Whipper. Harry left St. Catharines, went out west, played his senior lacrosse out west. And well, as I said, they're just a bunch of good fellows. We hung around together, we played lacrosse together.
That was probably our greatest success, because we had, there were 4 of us that played on the 1946 junior team that had a lot of senior players that later went back to senior. And then we had, the rest of the team were all made up of young fellows coming up out of the juniors. We had a coach that was a trainer for the senior team for years and years. So, as I say, I don't think there was too much hope for us in the beginning. But we gelled and played together, and it worked out. And incidentally, there are only, of the 22 people involved, 18 players, there's only 9 of us left. Time has taken its toll.
We played at our home games were at the Old Hague Bowl, and that's where the Minto Cup was played. It was an outdoor bowl that held 4,000 people. I don't think we filled it, but we had real good crowds.
We knew the crowds from the senior games, and for all it's worth, back in those days we used to walk to senior games, and when you were with 3 or 4 blocks of the bowl, you could tell the score by the crowd cheering.
Frick, who 2 years ago entered the Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame, is very humble about his accomplishments.
I just figure I'm very fortunate to be where I was at the right time. Like I'm in the Lacrosse Hall of Fame as a builder. Although I've played on all those championship teams, I've been convener, coaches, president of the Old Boys Lacrosse Association, and I've been involved with lacrosse, I'd say since 1940. Right today, I'm president of St. Catharines Old Boys Lacrosse. That's something I never dreamt I'd ever get. Especially, I'm chartered member of the Ontario here. And then 2 years ago, I was inducted into the Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame in New Westminster, BC. And just something I never dreamt of.
Both men still feel a lot of pride in the double blue.
That A in the front of your jersey, that means a lot to former and present lacrosse players here in St. Catharines. The double blue A.
Well, St. Catharines is, in its time, has been the hotbed of lacrosse, and almost anywhere in Canada where you talk to lacrosse people, they know what the St. Catharines Athletics means, and that crest. So we wear it with pride.
Germans capture this city, the entire country will collapse. I want our boys to resist. What we need are heroes. Do you know any heroes? I know one.
Armed only with a rifle, he quickly made the Nazi invader realize that from now on, the only way was back.
Vasily! Vasily!
You've seen the way people look at you, Vasily. You mean something bigger than yourself.
The whole country is looking at you. Those snipers are demoralizing my army.
They sent their top marksman. It seems he's come all the way from Berlin to stop you.
How are you going to go about finding this young Russian?
I'll fix it so that he's the one who finds me.
A battle between two nations became a conflict between two men.
I don't stand a chance against this man. If you kill him, you can win the war for us. You've promised people a victory I can't deliver.
And is there a girl he loves in his village?
Not in his village, here.
Does she love him?
Paramount Pictures and Mandalay Pictures present
Kill you and then you'll kill me too.
Joseph Fiennes.
She believes in you.
Jude Law.
You've built me up and up into someone I'm not.
Rachel Weisz.
It seems your destinies are entwined.
Bob Hoskins.
Where is he? Where's Vasily?
He's dead.
And Ed Harris.
He isn't dead. Because I haven't killed him yet.
A hero never chooses his destiny. Destiny chooses him.
The enemy at the gates right now for the Burnaby Lakers. This is St. Catharines Athletics through 20 minutes in game number 4. The A's with a 4-0 lead. Derek Wills alongside Andrew McKay and Chris Dredden for the call live on Cogeco TV 10 Niagara. And what a first period for the Athletics, Andrew. Obviously, they carry the momentum they gained in game number 3. A victory, 10-5 over to game number 4.
Derek Moffat, the assistant coach of Burnaby, mentioned, he's not at all happy with the effort of his team right now. Thinks that maybe they thought they had this series won after the first 2 games. Does not see the effort they were putting out in the first couple of games. They're hoping to change that going into the second here. But the problem is, St. Catharines is kind of like awaking a sleeping giant right now. After shutting down that offense, they only scored 4 goals in all of game 2. 4 goals in the first period here, 6 goals in the first period last night. That's been Burnaby's nemesis the last couple of games. And that's a pretty steep hill to climb when you consider that St. Catharines defense has been playing very well this series.
Andrew, something I'd like to get your take on is whether or not you think fatigue is playing a factor right now for the Lakers, because it looks to me like the 2 teams we've seen from them, the good team and the bad team, the good team, of course, making appearances in games 1 and 2, the bad team making appearances in games 3 and 4. It just seems like there's too much disparity between those 2 teams, that there has to be something else that's becoming a factor in this. And could it be the fact that they had to fly out here from BC? Could it be the fact that they've had to make an adjustment to the climate? Could it be fatigue?
It might be the actual climate to it. I don't really buy the concept of having to go sleep in a motel for 6 nights. These kids are 18, 19, 20 years old. That's like your wet dream when you're a kid. Get away from mom. You get room service. You get to watch movies. Like, this is not, I don't think this is something that's upsetting them. They get to hang out and do something totally different. And you know, maybe in the NHL and situations like that, you talk about, you don't get to sleep at home and see the kids and stuff. This doesn't apply to 20-year-olds, so I don't buy that as an excuse. However, the heat and the humidity might be playing a factor here and wearing them down.
St. Catharines wearing the road blues. We'll move from left to right here on your television set in the second period. Burnaby wearing the home whites will move from right to left. St. Catharines leading it 4-0. Burnaby looking for some type of spark out of the dressing room. We'll see if they get it. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Lakers moving it around. They flip it ahead. Benning gets it in close. The rebound came out up to the near side. There was a wide open portion to the St. Catharines net, but the Lakers unable to grab it. And we've got a stoppage in play. Matt Skinner was knocked down to the concrete by a pair of Lakers, and then he got up and some type of neat wrestling move, threw one of the guys down from his back.
Well, he got his helmet taken off, wasn't too happy about it, kind of threw his leg up at the end there and tripped him over. And I think Getty was looking at that saying, well, maybe that first one might have been a call too. So we're going to let this go as a possession call instead of a penalty.
Here's Taylor Ray. We'll see if he can give the Lakers a bit of a spark. Spins around, has the ball knocked loose though by Rory Glaves. 19-11 to go in the second period. St. Catharines continuing to lead by 4. Here's Kevin Fines wanting a shot in. But again, Matt Vince keeping that shutout intact makes the stop.
Presence of mind by Matt there too to figure out where the ball was. It was bouncing around, trap it, give St. Catharines possession.
Hayes get it quickly back down into Burnaby territory. 18 on the shot clock. Here's Billy D. Smith up high. Looking for either a lane or a player. Finds Craig Kahn. Kahn sneaks up top of the slot. Works it over to Jamie Flores into the far corner. Hayes now with 6 on the shot clock. Flores looking to spin in, but it was knocked away. Brother Greg standing right at the edge of the crease waiting for a rebound to pop out. We've got a penalty on the way against the Athletics as Andrew Leishon heads to the Burnaby bench. So the Lakers able to get 6 attackers on.
This is a bad penalty. It's going to be Craig Kahn hauling down Nick Farina from behind after the play. Not a smart play by Craig if he wants to stay in this game.
18-10 to go in the second period, and a Burnaby power play on the way, but St. Catharines is probably thinking to themselves, well, we've dominated them so far, both on the penalty kill, the power play, and even strength, so we won't worry too much.
High sticking call though on Craig Kahn, and while you've got a 4-0 lead here, what you got to worry about more is what happens if this game tightens up? What happens if this series tightens up and the games go along and Craig is starting to get more into that mentality of, you know, getting a little bit rough and tumble? That's not something you want to happen here. And I know Craig thinks that this was kind of a cheap call, but you can't get yourself into the situation where that's going to happen.
And he's got 2 penalties so far, Andrew, so that 5 mark that we'll see him ejected from the game is quickly approaching. I think he's about at the same pace as last night. Lakers in another power play. They haven't been able to capitalize so far. We'll see if they can here. Olsen far side. Quick pass near post, but Gaich can't handle it. Loose ball near corner. They get it back. Just 7 on the shot clock, though. Miyashita in close. Here's Gaich, but he's taken down right inside the St. Catharines crease by Billy D. Smith, who didn't like the fact that Gaich was hanging around that St. Catharines net, so he tossed him to the ground. No penalty call on the play, but the official is having a chat with Gaich, telling him to stay out of that crease or he'll be in a bit of trouble. Here's Miyashita bouncing one in. Another big save by Matty Vince. This time it was the right arm that got in the way of that shot. Now Nenad Gaich drops it off to Olsen before heading off for a change. 1:09 to go in the Burnaby power play. Miyashita back down low, gets it back near circle. Now over to Olsen. Brown works it into the far corner. Burnaby trying to find some kind of seam in that St. Catharines defense. There's one as Lindsey Plunkett came streaking in from the far corner, but could not get it by Vince. Now here's Rory Glaves. He will head to the net if he's given a lane, but he's not. Ball's knocked away. Lakers get it quickly back down the floor. Here's Snyder coming in as he goes sliding down to the concrete like an out-of-control toboggan. Nice job there by Billy D. Smith to get quickly back. Loose ball down the floor, giving chase Mark Panaccia. And we have a stoppage in play. It will be St. Catharines' ball. And Andrew, let's look back at that play. The break by Snyder. Billy D. Smith came back and put some pressure on Jeff Snyder to force him to take an early shot and then knocked him down to the ground right after that. So I'm sure Snyder will be thinking before he takes that much time in the next breakaway he gets.
It was important for Smith, too, because he realized Snyder was only near the ball, so if he took him down, basically eliminated the chance that the Burnaby player was going to come in and pick up that rebound and get another scoring chance.
Ball rolling around in behind the Laker goal, picked up by Panaccia. He's knocked down to the floor. He's being hacked and whacked and chopped like a lumberjack. And a penalty is coming up against Burnaby. I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, you're allowed to do certain things like that when you're down on the ground and you're hacking towards the ball, but obviously the Burnaby player, and that'd be number 13 there, Sean Lemke, it looks like heading to the box, wasn't making much of an attempt to come near the ball and instead taking a couple of extra shots towards Panaccia because he had to be lying on the ground in the proximity of the ball.
And Lemke has seen very little action in this series, and that's certainly not a way to endear yourself to the coaches, is to go a rare shift and take a penalty, a dumb penalty at that.
However, when he's 87 and he has to prove to his grandkids that he played the Minto Cup, he's on the score sheet.
Gotcha. He won't be getting a copy of that score sheet if this continues. Lakers moving around. Here's Olsen again. Kevin Olsen, definitely one of the guys who's going to have to step up. They haven't had anybody step up so far. They need one guy to at least create a bit of a spark to start a fire. Here's Fines. He could be the guy, has a lane to the net, but he's being pestered by Steenhouse and Billy D. Smith. And another loose ball picked up by Steenhouse as he will patiently move it ahead to Craig Codd before stepping off for a change. 1:22 to go in the penalty against Burnaby. St. Catharines back on the power play. Here's Hamanuk near circle. Goes up high. Greenhall now far side. Codd. His pass a bit wild. Kevin Dean able to pick it up though. 1:07 to go in the power play. Hamanuk back up high. Greenhall winds one in. And he hasn't used that bounce shot very often tonight, Andrew. He's instead trying to pick the top corner.
He's taking a lot of shots in this series, and obviously they have the book on him. Big steal by Craig Conn there to turn possession over. But obviously they have the book on Sean Greenhall, so he's going to try this game, it looks like, shoot high a bit, get the goalie thinking about, I don't know where this next ball's coming.
You mentioned the fact that Greenhall has had a lot of shots. He leads the series in shots with 29, so you're no doubt right. Back to the top of the slot. Conn bounces one in. And the ace craft the rebound. Hamanuk far side. Here's Craig Codd. Inside the circle. 25 seconds to go in the power play. Now into the corner. Back up to Codd. Near side. Greenhall has the pass knocked away though. He'll chase it back to mid-floor. 15 seconds to go in the power play. 10 on the shot clock. Collins pass intercepted midstream by Miyashita. But again, it's knocked down. This time Hodgson is bounced around like a pinball by Codd and Dean, and we've got a penalty on the way, and don't tell me it's Craig Codd again. It is.
Conn's getting a holding call, and I'm not so sure about this one. This is more of a push on the back, it looked like. And you can see Conn right there. He's got 3 penalties already, less than 6 minutes into the second period. look there at Mike Longboat watching what's going on here. We're going to get a look at.
That's a cheap call.
We hope here at what goes on. You see, Kahn kind of gets a stick wrapped around him, and the Burnaby player goes with it with the roll. And there really wasn't any grasp going on there to begin with, so not the greatest call in the world, but once again, you know, if you're in this kind of position and you feel like you're being marked with which maybe Craig Kahn is, maybe people are looking out for him to be doing stuff, just may get called on it tighter, then it's up to him and it's his responsibility alone to say, they're going to do that, I got to stay out of those situations.
I don't know. Craig Kahn's a guy who's got to play with emotion. If you try to take that out of your game, I don't know.
Well, but if he's gone halfway through the period, then you've got to bottle that emotion somehow and use it at the right time, not when you're on a power play trying to track down a guy who's only got AP with the ball.
That was a marginal penalty at best.
True, but he gets called on them all the time, so you got to realize I might get called on this. You have to learn from what's happened before, whether it's right or not.
The question is, can the Lakers capitalize? The answer so far is no. As a matter of fact, ask me if they've scored any goals.
Have they scored any goals?
No. Will they? Maybe. I'm not convinced yet. I'm not sold. I've never seen a shutout lacrosse. But who knows? Here's Mark Steenhouse. He certainly hasn't been shut out. 6 points last night, including 3 goals. Here he comes again. He's already got 1 tonight. He'll spin back top of the circle, and he is absolutely something else to watch in the penalty kill. Still has a hold of it, has 2 Lakers all over him like a cheap suit. Finally it comes loose. The Lakers, though, not able to do much with it. Now they come back up to mid-floor. Hamanuk gets in the way of his man as Olsen will take over for Burnaby. Olsen drops it off near side for Hansen. Now just 35 seconds to go in the power play. Hansen, low slot, Olsen, couple of nice moves. Can't get the shot through, though. Burnaby does get the rebound. Here's Miyashita. Looking for a lane, goes far side, but again, Burnaby bobbling the passes when they get it through that very, very tight St. Catharines defense. Here they go again, another attempt, but Olsen, who finally gets a shot through, fires it right into the chest of Matt Vince. That one's going to go in 0% of the time.
Billy D. Smith not paying much attention after taking that pass from Matt Vince. Gets called for the 10-second rule, not bringing it over the second line within 10 seconds. He jogged it up and penalty's over, but Getty was watching that the entire way right off the shot clock. So
another big penalty kill for the A's. They continue to lead game number 4, 4-0. 12:08 now to go here in the second period. Derek Wills alongside Andrew McKay and Chris Drennan for the call live on Cogeco TV 10. Here comes Kevin Fines. He's taken down to the ground in front of the St. Catharines goal. And boy, if you're Burnaby, Andrew, you've got to be very frustrated at this point. They've got 3 defenders back trying to stop St. Catharines. They have to worry about St. Catharines so much, they can't worry about themselves.
I'm not sure what the call is here. Maybe an interference call behind the play, but no, definitely you're starting to worry as St. Catharines offense starting to wake up at the exact same time that yours is going to sleep, and you're having more and more trouble scoring. They might end up with a point here where they start overthinking themselves.
And the Lakers have got some calls from the officials here in period number 2, have not been able to use those calls to their advantage. In St. Catharines, it's only a matter of time, really, before those calls probably get evened up. Now we've got an injured Athletic down inside the St. Catharines end. It's number 32, John Donnelly. The training staff will come out and take a look at him, but Donnelly's been one of those role players who has played so well so far in this series, just doing his job, not trying to do too much, Andrew.
If there's going to be any question about whether referees are being homers in this series, this is going to dispel it. The reason Donnelly went down was he got punched right in the head by Kevin Olsen. Totally behind the play with a good windup with the right arm.
I spoke with Don Smith before the game, as you know, and I got the feeling that if St. Catharines could win tonight, it might just be the spark they needed to roll 4 straight wins off. I asked Don Smith if he thought the victory tonight could lead them to the promised land.
The key to the rest of the series is going to be how Burnaby plays the first period. If they come out and go back to playing good, solid lacrosse like they did in the first 2 games, then we're in for a heck of a series the rest of the way. If they come out and try to goon us like they did in the second and third period, then I think it'll be over in 4 games because we've been down that road before and it's not going to work against us. So if they don't want to play lacrosse, then we're interpreting that as a signal that they've given up.
Andrew, Don Smith saying a lot in very few words. Basically, his point was, if they try to come out and goon us, this is going to be 4 straight wins for the St. Catharines Athletics. And Burnaby, not so much here in the second period, but more in the first period, did come out and try to goon the A's. That tactic is not going to work. And Burnaby, even when they get power plays, have not been able to convert. So Don Smith could be right. This could be 4 straight wins for the A's. We're not going to count our chickens before the eggs hatch, but certainly things looking very, very good for St. Catharines at this point.
The other Andrew McKay rule is you don't try and predict who's going to win after the first period.
That'll help a bit. Big shot far side, Dave Bowman, 5-hole, and the A's have a 5-0 lead. That is his first goal in Minto Cup action. Oh boy, what a big one.
I'm not sure. I think that might be his first goal of the season. For Dave Bowman to step up like that. Bowman just kind of muscling his way towards the net, trying to get any kind of a shot off. Even Mike Longboat looks kind of happy about that. And you see Bowman up against 2 guys. Greenhall, I think it is, over on his right. Couple of moves. Farina trying to track him down behind. Farina comes in. This is the funny part. Farina comes in, hits him from behind, and trips him a little, knocks him down to the ground, and then Farina's yelling at the referee that he was in the crease. That's fresh. I think that's precious, actually, is the word I think of.
Well, Dave Bowman must feel about 100 pounds lighter right now because he's finally got that monkey off his back. Here's the stats on Bowman for the regular season. 19 games played, 3 assists, 26 penalty minutes, no goals. His first goal of the season, Andrew, comes in the national championship. I bet he's got that ball and he's going to put that away in the locker, that's for sure.
That was an important one for St. Catharines to get to after having momentum while they had the offensive chances in terms of power plays and penalties going against them. To then come back, fight them all off, and score again, that's huge for the A's.
Big goal by Dave Bowman. And St. Catharines leads 5-0. This equals the biggest lead of the series for the A's. Still trying for more though. Here's Dan Bowman with the shot from the near side. That one goes just wide. Now just past the midway point of tonight's game. A game that has been 100% dominated by the away team, as strange as that may sound. St. Catharines, of course, with the blue jerseys on tonight. They are the away team. Here's Plunkett in behind the St. Catharines goal. 6 on the shot clock for the Lakers. Back up high. Gary Binning, one of the smaller guys, is being pushed around by Pat Russell fairly easily. And Binning, really the one exception on this Burnaby team, Andrew. Everybody else is huge. Looks like they spend about 12 hours a day in the weight room. Binning, not a real big guy. I'm sure he's cut pretty good, but he's been certainly a target of the A's because he's one of their more talented offensive players, but he just hasn't been able to establish himself physically.
He's been creating a lot of chances, they haven't been going in, but he's been one of their better offensive threats so far this series.
Big shot as Jamie Flores tried one of those sneaky little underhand backhand shots, but did not work as the shot clock expires. 8:58 now to go here in the second period. A's leading 5-0. Ball comes up the near side. Lakers trying to break Matt Vince's shutout. Quick shot in. Ray can't even get it through to Matt Vince. That's how smothering this A's defense is. They're creating such a tight envelope in front of that goal that Burnaby's just struggling to get shots in.
Even then, you see right here, you got Hansen and Gwendon going after Flores. Leishon comes in, gives Flores a couple of shots, and he still holds on to the ball for 5 seconds. Everything's going right for the A's right now.
Here's Gaich. He'll carry it down the left side. 16 seconds on the shot clock. Gaich looking for some room. Finally has some. Comes in, takes the shot, but Vince gets the left shoulder up there to make the save. Loose ball far side. Matt Skinner in there trying to dig it out. John Donnelly does come out with it. He'll step up to mid-floor and then bounce it back to Tim Ham. Now 8 minutes to go in the period. Here's Tim Ham. He'll carry it up the right-hand side. Now Greenhall ahead. Kevin Dean. Near corner. A's have 5 on the shot clock. We'll see if they can get one away quickly. Here's Steenhouse down far side, and nope. Shot clock has expired. That was an awfully quick shot clock, Andrew. I'm not sure they reset it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just never managed to turn it on, because I don't think that was 30 seconds.
No, it definitely was not. Steenhouse kind of looked around the play, continued. The officials didn't know it, and so obviously that shot clock was not reset. the A's are not going to argue much right now. Matty Vince dumps it off far side. Here's Billy D. Smith. We'll see if he can use that speed here. He'll quickly make his way to the bench.
That was fantastic. That was
Dynamite.
like Superman, the speed with which he got to the bench.
That was like a 1-3-10 instead of a 4-3-40. Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
I'm not sure anybody else
There's
did.
a penalty coming up to Jamie Plunkett right there for the high stick.
So another power play on the way for the A's, just what they need. 6:58 the time to go in period at number 2. Now, Craig Conn hasn't been on the floor in a while. Maybe they're pulling the old basketball tactic. They've got, of course, you get 6 fouls in basketball. Craig Conn's got 3 penalties. If he gets 5, he's out of the game. So Conn's going to stay on the bench for a little while, rest up.
Getty calls the penalty. Plunkett's complaining and heads back towards the bench. But that should be him getting the call here. You see just Dex Hominick from behind. Plunkett's gone back over as if it had nothing to do with him. Getty's waiting for him to come back out. I think maybe Plunkett was heading back for to pick something up off the bench or something. Yeah, he's getting a new stick before he heads back over. So nice and harmless. He wasn't trying to hide or anything. He had some stick problems.
Andrew, we have a great vantage point from our broadcast location of the Burnaby bench, and we've looked down from time to time to see
tonight's word is
their
solemn.
attitude. And solemn is a good way to describe it. Something else that comes to mind is the fact that they're more concerned about complaining about the officiating, worrying about what's not going right, as opposed to trying to figure out how to make things go their way. And that certainly would be a concern if I was the coaching staff. They've got to get these guys refocused. I don't know if they can do it now, trailing 5-0, but they've got to try to work on that through the remainder of this game, even if it means getting a couple goals past Matt Vince, and then carry that into the dressing room following the game. Try to convince these guys that St. Catharines is not invincible, which they seem right now, and convince these guys they can get back into this series. It sounds funny because it's going to be 2-2 after tonight, but really, at this point, they do look like they're out of it.
At a certain point, it's about convincing them they can win the 2 out of 3 that might ensue.
Well, that'll help a little bit. Hansen sneaking in, taking the shot in. He gets the first goal of the night for the Burnaby Lakers. Matt Vince shutout has been broken, but the A's still have a 4-goal lead with 6:11 to go in the period, and that goal coming shorthanded might be the boost that Burnaby was looking for.
See Hansen coming down on the left here as he beats, I believe, that Steenhouse. A quick move, heads towards the net, puts it right over Matt Vince's left shoulder as Vince comes down to cut down the angle. Unfortunately, leaves that hole up there. So, not exactly what St. Catharines wanted there. Not the greatest pressure they showed in getting back on that. Thinking maybe too much about that 6th goal instead of keeping the 5-goal lead. Now they're looking here with 1 minute and 3 seconds left on the power play, just even it up a bit.
Well, this game reminds me so much of what we saw from both teams last night, Andrew. St. Catharines getting a big lead, looking a bit lackadaisical after that. Burnaby could come back and score a couple like they did last night on, I believe, 2 different occasions, scoring 2 goals, but they couldn't get that 3rd one. St. Catharines would rebound with one of their own, and that kept their lead in big numbers. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here. Now Greenhall, near side Hominick. Still 35 seconds to go in the St. Catharines power play. They're leading it 5-1. Burnaby finally getting on the board. That's Kevin Hansen's last shot. Here's Jeff Snyder. Working his way down the left side. Craig Conn chasing him. Snyder gets in, but he slides right into the St. Catharines crease. And now he gets tangled up with Matt Vince, Conn, and Dean in there, trying to pull Snyder out. Now Vince has him in a bit of a headlock. Taylor Ray steps in, as does Michael Kilby. Now Steenhouse in there supervising.
I'd be interested to see if we can see this again, how it worked out, because what happened here was Snyder went into the net, went into the crease area, and while he was pretending to get out, decided to take a couple of steps to his right, change his trajectory, and run into Matt Vince as he was going by, heading back towards the bench now. But let's see how this works out, see what kind of a picture we get on this. Now here he comes in, and he goes sliding down. So now he goes to get up. Now you can see he's over on the right. He'd be able to get up through. Now you can see right here, he goes right straight at him, pretending he's walking through the crease. So Kevin Dean and Craig Conn take exception to that. No penalties come out of it, but the referees are certainly going to be having a talk here about these guys have to calm this stuff down.
You saw Dean and Conn. They stood back for a second just to kind of wait and see what was going to happen. And then when they saw that the player was going to go towards Matt Vince, then they stepped in to grab him, and that's the kind of discipline that St. Catharines has right now, and Burnaby doesn't. Here come the A's again. Dean works it far side for Kahn. His shot deflected right out of his stick, so the Lakers will take over. Now under 5 minutes to play in the second period. A's leading this one 5-1. Derek Wills alongside Andrew McKay and Chris Drennan for the call, live on Cogeco TV 10. Keep in mind, game number 5 of this best-of-7 series coming up on Thursday night, so we'll have a night off, a night to rest. Game time will be 8 p.m. right here on Cogeco TV 10. Here's Olsen, looking for some room to get it in front. He's only got 3 seconds on the shot clock, and he will not get a shot away. But a slashing penalty on the way against Matt Skinner, so Skinner, after drawing 2 penalties in game 1, has had 2 penalties called against him, so he's all even.
The score sheet here, but this has certainly been fairly lopsided in terms of the number of penalties called against St. Catharines, the number of penalties called against Burnaby. And St. Catharines is playing a bit of a more physical game. However, there's been a lot of calls that weren't called the last couple of nights. They're getting called tonight. A lot of things that were getting called the last couple of nights, the holding specifically, that they're letting go tonight. So it's going to be kind of tough for these guys to adjust to playing a completely different game than they played last night.
So another power play for the Lakers. We'll see if they can capitalize and cut the St. Catharines lead to 3. Quick shot in. Matt Vince makes the save. Rebound right back to Burnaby. Olsen works it far side. Hansen actually Benning knocked down just as he took the shot. Rebound corralled by Flores. He'll work it near side for Billy D. Smith. And look at this burst of speed by Billy D. Smith. He left him between a couple of guys, but then lost possession of the ball. Now Burnaby right back down the floor. 22 on the shot clock. Here's Hansen near circle. Looking for a lane. Waiting. Gets it to Olsen. Back to Hansen. Has a lane. Winds it in. Tried for the top far corner, but Matt Vince able to get that elbow out there to make the stop. Now 1 minute to go on the power play. 3.5 minutes to play in the period. Burnaby near side. Here's Hansen. Looking to maneuver that ball around Hominick. Gets it to Olsen. Now Benning near post. Trying to get the shot up and over top of Matt Vince was Jeff Snyder. Quick shot comes in from the far side, but Vince again there to make the save. Now Hominick gives it away. Benning chasing it down. He'll corral it. Actually, it bounces all the way back to mid-floor. Greenhull thought he had it, but Snyder blocked that one away nicely. Snyder now will work it back, keep it to his own zone. Here's Hodgson. And another stoppage in play, and I'm not sure what's happening here.
I think they're just clearing off the debris off the floor because there was a lot of stuff out there. That's the weirdest looking penalty kill I've ever seen. Hope Brandon McKenna's okay as he took a bit of a hit down there from Billy D. Smith.
His helmet popped off and Smith gave him a bit of a boot to the head.
I think that might have been a penalty. You know, for the stuff that hasn't been called tonight, the stuff that has, it's kind of tough to tell what's going on.
Fines trying to work his way in. Past Smith and Flores, but the ball knocked all the way back down the floor. Shot clock continues to run on the Lakers, as does this power play. There's only 5 seconds remaining. We'll see if they get one last shot off. Here's Fines, but he misses the far post. Lakers have 3 seconds on the shot clock. Miyashita sneaks in front and scores. The captain, Mark Miyashita, getting a pass right at the edge of the crease, and he fires it by Matt Vince on the near post, and the Lakers score their second straight and cut the St. Catharines lead to 3.
At a certain point, your defense is just going to be out there too long trying to kill off these penalties. Now you can see that the pass ended up over to the right of Matt Vince. Here comes Miyashita, one quick move, gets over there, and Vince just doesn't quite have that hole covered up. This is what Burnaby was looking for, is to get back within 3.
And a timeout being called on the floor, and I'm going to guess this one is going to be called by the St. Catharines Athletics, as Andrew will head down to set up his intermission. We're again joined by Chris Drennan. Hello, Chris. How are you?
I am excellent, Derek, and yourself?
I'm peachy, just as I was in the first period.
Okay, what's with the peachy thing, Derek?
Peachy just means happy.
I know what it means. Is that the word of the day?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
I don't have to pick long words.
Oh, I forgot.
I can just pick short words.
Yes.
Whatever describes my mood the best.
Well, hey, sometimes short words say it better than big, long 18-syllable words.
That nobody knows what they mean.
Exactly, except for Andrew. I actually I saw him before the game. He was out back reading the dictionary.
Was he?
Looked like he was really into it. I wonder if he doesn't know it's a novel.
He must have finished that after he read the phone book.
I didn't catch him reading the phone book,
I
but
did.
I think we just had a goaltender's timeout here. Leishon seems to be having quite a few problems with his equipment tonight. This is probably the umpteenth trip to the bench to adjust something. And I think this could actually work against Burnaby with Leishon taking an equipment timeout. Burnaby should have, gotten out there, down for the face-off right away, maybe try and, pick up on some of the momentum from that goal. But Leishon with the equipment timeout, we'll see how it plays out for Burnaby.
Face-off at mid-floor. Russell in there to take the draw. And he wins another one, this time against Olsen, who has not taken too many draws so far in this series. Loose ball deep inside St. Catharines territory. Here's Tim Ham. 2 minutes and 8 seconds to go now in the second period. A's have a 5-2 lead. Remember, they had a 5-0 lead at one point. The Lakers have scored 2 straight. Just looking back to last night, Burnaby came back on a couple of occasions scoring a pair of goals, but they weren't able to get that third one. St. Catharines would come back and score to extend the lead right back. So we're going to keep a close eye on developments here late in the second period, because if Burnaby gets the next goal, we've got a game heading into the third. If St. Catharines gets the next goal, once again, it's a 4-goal margin.
Oh, definitely, Derek. Burnaby can score 1 goal before the end of the period. That will give them all the confidence they need going into the break. But, it could hurt them, getting a goal so close to the break. It may break up their momentum. St. Catharines can come out and take it to them again.
Donnelly and Kahn move down the floor. Loose ball snapped up by the Laker defense. Burnaby heads down the floor. Here's Hansen. Hansen sneaks in, bottom of the circle, looking for a lane. Matt Skinner down, finally gets back up. St. Catharines trying to keep Burnaby to the outside. They've done that so effectively so far tonight. Now we've got Matt Skinner and Kevin Fines tied up near side. Fines not at all happy with Skinner. Skinner, of course, isn't one to back down. And I believe both guys will probably be making a trip to the penalty box for their efforts.
Oh, definitely. Matt Skinner is he's an agitator. He goes out there, he gets you going. I think the best way to describe him is kind of like Theoren Fleury. He goes out there, he gets you going, and he'll suck you in for a penalty. But also, he won't back down. And actually, it's just Fines going for the penalty as Skinner gets away with one this time.
Theoren Fleury minus the rehab clinic.
Oh, low blow, low blow. That was a low blow, Darren.
Face off will go to the left of our broadcast position here above the floor at the Jack A. Cliff Garden City Arena. So much history in this building. I love it, Chris.
Oh, it's amazing. I get chills every time I walk into this building thinking of the greats from hockey and lacrosse that have come through this building.
15, St. Catharines Falcons championship banners hanging to our left. I've watched a lot of great Falcons games in this building.
I think everyone in this town has.
One in particular that stands out to me, I'm sure you were here.
Oh, I was definitely
Game 7 of the 1996 Sutherland Cup final.
Actually, no, I was living in Toronto at that point, so I had actually missed that game.
St. Catharines lost that game, but Brad Rooney scored a goal to tie the game at 3 in the third period. I don't ever remember a building going as crazy as this one did that night. It was unbelievable. We've got an injured player down deep inside the Burnaby end. It's number 6, Curtis Hodgson. A penalty coming up against the A's with 12 seconds to go in the period. And Andrew Leishon made his way to the bench. Wasn't sure whether or not the penalty was actually against Burnaby.
No, it's going to Kevin Dean, and I think he's going to be called for high sticking here. He went kind of high on the Burnaby player. So 8 seconds left in the period. Kevin Dean's going to grab himself a seat in the penalty box.
And we're going to play 4-on-4 for the next 8 seconds before we head into our second intermission. Burnaby would love to find some way to get a quick shot off here, maybe fool Matt Vince, because the deficit right now at 3 is still going to be very, very tough to overcome. But if they can narrow it to 2, having the momentum of scoring 3 straight goals will be something great to talk about heading into the dressing room. And Burnaby's going to talk a bit more about it right now because they're going to take a timeout.
Well, I was just about to say, if you're Paul Del Monte, the Burnaby coach, you want to call a timeout here. You know, try and go to one of your set plays and, you know, pull the goalie and, you know, see what can happen with 8 seconds left. I mean, that's still a lot of time to get a shot off.
We're going to take a short break before the end of the period here. 5-2 A's lead it. 8 seconds to go in period number 2.
Well, why would you name your bar after someone? Oh, because Cheers was taken.
You're unbelievable.
Be Coyotes, but not ugly.
Oh, definitely not. As we're back here with 8 seconds left.
Olsen wins the faceoff near side. Hansen. Now 2 on the clock, and we've got another stoppage in play as Donnelly tries playing leapfrog with Hansen and Olsen.
Well, I'm surprised Paul Del Monte didn't bring Leishon out of the net to get the 5 attackers on the floor.
Well, he's halfway in between, unless he can run as fast as Donovan Bailey or Ben Johnson in 1988.
I don't think there's very much going on for Leishon tonight, running, stopping balls, or anything.
So at the end of 40 minutes in game number 4, St. Catharines not quite as dominant in period number 2 as they were in period number 1, but they still hold on to a 5-2 lead. Now, Chris, obviously Burnaby and the coaching staff is going to say in between periods, listen, guys, we were down 5-0. We've scored a couple in a row, and this game is far from over. We've got 20 minutes to score 3 goals. St. Catharines scored 4 goals in 20 minutes in the first period, so it's certainly within the realm of possibility, but obviously a very high mountain for the Burnaby Lakers to climb, and I'm not sure they've got enough oxygen to do it.
Well, I mean, Derek, I think the best way to put it is, in a universe as infinitely large as ours, an infinite number of things can happen. Burnaby could very easily come out, score 3 quick goals, and tie this one up. But I think St. Catharines has the momentum. They're going to tighten up their defense in the 3rd period. That is a guarantee. Can Burnaby come out and, you know, penetrate this defense, something they haven't been able to do the past 2 games? That remains to be seen. And, you know, can St. Catharines keep up the offensive pressure that they've had going? I think they can. They've been showing that they're not going to rely on Craig Conn and Sean Greenhall to do all the scoring. I mean, I think Dave Bowman's first goal of the year, all year long, is proof of that. They're spreading the ball around. They're getting the shots to people who don't normally get shots, and they're getting offense from places they generally don't expect it from. So I think St. Catharines is very much in the driver's seat in this game. It would take a huge slip up on the part of the Athletics for Burnaby to really get back into this one.
Burnaby's going to be throwing some banana peels out there, hoping the A's will slip. We'll have to wait and see. 5-2 the score at the end of 40 minutes. Right now, we'll head down to floor level and join Andrew McKay with A's assistant coach, Les Bartley.
Joined now by Les Bartley, an assistant coach with the St. Catharines Athletics. Les, 5-2 lead. You got to be kind of happy, except in the 2nd period, things are starting to sputter a little bit. How are you going to get that turned around for the 3rd?
We just got to get back to our disciplined play. You know, in that period there, they scored a shorthanded goal. They got a power play goal. So the specialty teams is where things kicked in. I think if we play 5-on-5 with this team, that we're a better 5-on-5 team. We want to get that back to 5-on-5 in our transition game.
That having been said, you must be feeling as a unit a little more confident after the first 2 games, after the performance we had last night, and now it's 5-2 after going through a bit of a rough spot in the last couple of minutes. You're still up 5-2. You're in the driver's seat looking to tie the series up. You got to feel a bit better than you did on the weekend.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You know, winning is infectious. You know, once you learn to win, a lot of things can happen for you. And of course, playing with a lead is a lot easier than playing from behind. So, you know, our focus really still needs to be discipline. It needs to be hustling every shift. And we think we can outrun them, and that's where we have to be, outrun them every shift.
Well, good luck in the 3rd.
Thanks
very much for joining us. We'll be right back right after this.
Michael?
Oh, this isn't what it looks like.
Hold on to your glass shoes.
There are 4 million men in New York. Why can't I just find one good one? Just one!
This is no ordinary fairy tale.
The rent's $500.
Oh my God, you're all models.
Oh, don't envy us. We're struggling.
You pick relationships based on clothing and gifts.
No, we pick them based on personality.
Hey, no! Back door! Are you okay? I guess he likes you.
No way, it's that guy.
Oh, his name's Jim Winston. He's a fashion executive.
He probably only dates promiscuous women? No, models.
If you think he wants a model, we will give him a model. Oh, and keep your cheeks clenched. Not those. These.
You're not like most of the women I see at these parties. What are you doing Saturday?
He's like Mr. Perfect.
Who's that?
It's another woman. Maybe they're just good friends. Did someone scream?
Oh my God, I think he killed her.
Where's the body? You're calling him?
Yeah, I want to make sure he didn't hurt himself while he was killing the blonde.
That's so sweet.
I'm calling the police.
Look, no body, no crime.
You really don't know what happened.
I will investigate him.
So what exactly are we looking for?
Anything that may indicate he's a cold-blooded killer.
Watch out, he'll charm you. Smoother than the LA weather, that's how he holds himself together.
Suddenly, getting home by midnight
I mean, come on, he's way too cute to be a killer.
is the least of your worries.
You're gonna take me to New Jersey and whack me.
When you're all ready,
Amanda?
Jim.
head over heels. Monica Potter,
Hello, girl who has a date with a potential murderer and
Freddie Prinze Jr.,
It's just me. That's some psycho killer.
head over heels.
Hey, hope I didn't scare you.
Oh, this is my friend Lisa. She's a black belt in karate.
Hey, me too.
I'm no savior, but I tried to save you.
Welcome back. We're joined now by Johnny Moradian, the president and general manager of the Ottawa Rebel. And if you're watching lacrosse and you're from St. Catharines and you haven't heard of him, go to the kitchen, make yourself a snack, because most people have. Johnny, this is a pretty good thing going on here, having the national championship, the Minto Cup in St. Catharines.
Well, we're pretty excited about hosting it, and it's an awful lot of work for everybody because, as we all know, there's not a whole lot of downtime in between the final Ontario Championship round and then when you have to host. But they've done a great job. It's been a first-class operation, and I'm sure that Burnaby feels very excited to be here. And the A's, after Game 2, here after the second period, are up 5-2, and that's great. Hopefully, it's tied after tonight, and it's a 2-2 series going forward.
Well, good. Now let's move over to the pro ranks for a little bit. Obviously, as we mentioned, president and general manager of the Ottawa Rebel, your first full year in that. How's that process going, acclimatizing yourself to the Ottawa market and getting to know the new players and who you're bringing in?
Well, we're pretty excited about the market. We averaged over 8,000 last year for our first-year team. We bought that franchise that was in Syracuse. It was a bankrupt franchise. We moved it to Ottawa, averaged 8,000. Our record was very disappointing, however, 1-13. At the end of the year, when we had our new management team take over, one of our objectives to make the team better was to be 8 players better than we were at the beginning of last year. And looking at some of the trades and the free agents that we've signed, we feel that we're going to be 8 or 9 players better. And that's exciting. If we can win 5 or 6 games this year, the way the schedule is set up, we feel our attendance will go from 8,000 up to 10 or 12. Hey, providing we get good weather. You know, Ottawa, exactly. My golly, that weather up there can play havoc with the crowd. We had a storm when Albany was up last year, and we had a storm when Toronto was up. So it's tough to get to the rink in Canada if the weather's bad.
Now, I'll let you know, I drove from Toronto for that Albany game. I was there. So we're not letting anybody who lives downtown Ottawa get off the hook as an Ottawa native. Yeah. Obviously, I hope that team does really well. I told you earlier, I made my dad buy season tickets, so I hope everything really does take off for you this year and it goes well. We'll be down in the winter to check it out. Yeah. Wish you all the success as that goes along. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back with the third period right after this.
Show me the monkey! Shake that monkey!
Stu Miley is the creator.
The man behind the monkey.
Monkey Bone is his creation.
I love your ways.
Stu was about to have it all until it all came crashing down. From the director of The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Hello? Am I dead?
Hiya, boss.
Comes the story of a man whose imagination brought a monkey to life.
This is living.
Hey!
Get your fat butt out of my face.
And a monkey
We've got big plans for that body of yours.
who wanted a life of his own.
Stu?
Whoa, baby!
If it screams, if it swings,
Ooga, ooga, da, 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 da.
it's got to be
Drinks for everybody.
Monkey Bone. Brendan Fraser, Bridget Fonda,
The woman I love is living with a little monkey that looks like me.
Dive, dive, dive! Ow!
What a lucky girl.
Monkey Bone.
Sorry, kitty. I'll be right back after I choke my monkey!
And welcome back to the Jack Gatecliff Garden City Arena in St. Catharines. Third period action just around the corner. We'll score through 40 minutes. In game number 4, the St. Catharines Athletics leading the Burnaby Lakers 5-2. Derek Mules alongside Chris Drennan and Andrew McKay for the call live on Cogeco TV 10 Niagara. And Chris, St. Catharines had the 5-0 lead. Burnaby has scored 2 straight goals, and we've got a new goaltender in this game for the Lakers.
Well, I don't think Patterson is coming in with a game this close. You want to leave LeSean in. Confidence level means nothing.
LeSean's nowhere on the floor. Patterson's standing in between the pipes.
Well, I haven't seen Patterson put his helmet on, and I didn't notice in between periods if he was taking any warm-up shots. But I think if you're Burnaby, the smart thing to do is to leave LeSean in.
You're right.
With a 5-2 game, you want to go with your number 1 guy for sure. And actually, one thing that I will say that St. Catharines needs to rely on this period is the fan support, which has been outstanding tonight. I've seen quite a few interesting characters in the crowd. Did you happen to see Ryan Tufford?
Oh gosh, what's he wearing tonight?
Ryan Tufford of the formerly of the St. Catharines Falcons.
He warned me last night. He says, Derek, you thought I was bad on Saturday? Wait till you see me tomorrow, and I haven't seen him yet.
Well, he's wearing an old school Toronto Argonauts football helmet. And let me just say this. If you thought Tuffy was in rare form Saturday night, you should see him tonight.
Where is he? Down in the Falcons' nest, I'm guessing.
I'm guessing as well, but I caught a brief glimpse of him, and he looked like he was in rare form.
Ryan Tufford is one of the funniest guys. He's the nicest guy I've ever met. He's a very funny guy. I saw him at the golf course. I was playing at Rockaway Glen, and as third period action gets going here, he had these knee-high socks on. They were Argyle, and they had little golfers all over them. And he had on this strange-looking floral shirt, and then, you know the red, white, and blue wristbands?
The 80s ones, yes.
He had matching wristbands and a sweatband on. I don't know why they let him on the course. I wouldn't have let him on the course, but they did. He is a strange cat, but he's a good guy and a funny guy, so.
Oh, great guy.
A's looking to hold on to the lead. We're playing right now at 4-on-4. The next 34 seconds until Burnaby will head to the power play. Here's Mark Panicia trying to get around Miyashita. Now Kahn, high on the slot, trying to spin around. He's taken down as the shot clock expires. Burnaby takes over, moves it up the floor. 20 seconds away now from a Burnaby power play. Lakers trying to carry the momentum they gained late in the second period into period number 3. Here's Lindsey Plunkett. Definitely a guy that can do that. Gets it up high. Now Miyashita winds one in. Just missed the far post, but the rebound hops all the way back down the floor, and LeSean hops out of his crease to grab it. Now 50 seconds to go in the power play. Here's Hansen winding a low shot in as the shot clock expires. 46 seconds now remaining in the Burnaby power play. 18:54 to go in the third period. St. Catharines leading 5-2. Derek Wills alongside Chris Drennan, otherwise known as Target, and Andrew McKay, otherwise known as the Human Dictionary.
Well, we all have to stick to our talents.
We don't want to mention any of Andrew's talents.
I don't think we do.
We know they have nothing to do with athletics.
Speaking of athletics, I think this will be a very good test for the Athletics starting the third period. See if they have what it takes for the final 20 minutes.
I don't know how you practiced that segue, but it was a good one.
Thought about it up in my head.
A's moving that ball around nicely. Here's Hominick trying to drag some time off this penalty kill. Andrew McKay again joining me here up in the gondola high above the floor at the Jack Aycliffe Garden City Arena. 3-on-2 break for the Lakers, but they'll stop and set up the offensive unit as the power play expires. 18:07 now to go in the third period, and we're back to 5-on-5. Here's Plunkett, steps around Kahn, takes the shot, but Matty Vince comes up with a big save and then fires the ball right off the score clock. I think he was aiming for Sean Greenhall.
Well, I think he's used to the dimensions of Bill Burgoyne, where, of course, there is no score clock hanging over the front of the rink. So, horrible pass there by Craig Kahn. Fortunately, it goes nowhere. You mentioned the gondola. I've been meaning to say this all series. Welcome lacrosse fans across Canada and in Newfoundland. It's been on my mind for 4 games. I got it out of my system. I feel better.
Oh, I get it. I'm trying to think.
That's right. You're young. You more mature people know what I'm talking about, and we'll leave it to them. I had to get up here before we started describing what Chris's mom was wearing.
Let's throw that word mature in the garbage and use old. Well, old's a better description of...
Well, for me, maybe, but I don't want to insult the audience.
Okay. How old are you, by the way?
Dog years, remember?
Oh, yeah. Which means you should keel over any time now. Speaking of keeling over, the Lakers need a goal sooner. They're going to keel over here in game 4. Now Stainhouse sneaks in, fires the shot, tried to pick a spot just inside that far post, but Leishon able to make the save. Lakers right back up the floor. Here's Taylor Ray. Has certainly played the role of a spark plug in this series for the Lakers. We'll see if he can get something going here. On the offensive rush, steps into the low slot, fires the shot, rebound right back to Binning. He'll get it back into the far circle. Quick pass in tight, takes the shot, Gwynn, and rang it off the crossbar. And Matty Vince's mom will tell you that her son had the entire net covered up, and that was all that was left.
It's part of the equipment.
Loose ball rolls all the way down the floor. Picked up by Leishon. And Hansen will start this rush for the Lakers. Gets it ahead, top of the near circle. 3 minutes and 30 seconds have gone by here in the third period. Same score as we had leaving the second, 5-2 in favor of the A's. Derek Wills alongside Andrew McKay and Chris Drennan for the call live on Cogeco TV 10 Niagara. Keep in mind, game number 5 coming up on Thursday night at 8 p.m. It'll be the Burnaby Lakers at the St. Catharines Athletics right here from the Jack Aycliffe Garden City Arena, live on Cogeco TV 10. And if necessary, which it looks like it will be at this point, game 6 Friday night, again at 8 p.m. Lakers trying to set something up 5-on-5. They've had their problems even strength tonight. Here's Brown with a wide open net. Shot in the near corner and cuts the St. Catharines lead to 2 goals.
Brown, one of the leading scorers, actually tied for the league lead in BC this year. Scoring with 73 points, showed exactly why there as John Donnelly kind of abandons the crease, moves over a bit too far to the right. You can see him kind of standing there as Brown comes in on the other side. He's got all the time in the world to beat Matt Vince. And a pure scorer like Brown, that's going to go in most of the time.
Well, Brown must have felt like he was alone in a cornfield on that play. There was nobody within 10 feet of him.
Now, and I'm not sure what John Donnelly was looking at there. As you saw right at the end, he turned his head and saw him and didn't really make much of an adjustment to go in and close up that gap.
He wasn't looking at Matt Brown. Loose ball up the right side. 3 Lakers converge on top of Greg Flores. Back down the floor. Here comes the captain, Miyashita. He's hammered into the far boards by Dan Bowman. Loose ball, Fines will step into the far corner and pick it up. He's being pestered by Rory. Glaze, Fines rolls it up along the ledge there, up along the glass, and grabbed it himself. Now he gets it back to Brown, top of the near circle. Brown taken down, looks a bit tired. There's Brown. Now Jamie Flores able to pick up that loose ball in behind the St. Catharines net, and Jamie Flores being called. He doesn't agree with it, but it's going to be Burnaby ball in the far corner.
You know, it's pretty funny. As I was making my way back up to the booth here, the Burnaby fans are sitting right underneath us, and they're actually accusing the referees of being homers.
Really?
Yeah, of all the nights, this is not the night to be throwing that one out.
Lakers now within 2. We'll see if they can inch to within 1, but now we've got a break. Here's Jamie Flores all alone, cutting in, takes the shot. But Andrew Lashon makes a slight move and knocks it back into the far corner. Great chance for Flores, but he can't capitalize. We'll see if the Lakers pick up some momentum from the missed chance by the A's. Here's Lindsey Plunkett sneaking in front, taking the shot. He nearly found the 5-hole of Matt Vince, as we've got a couple of players sprawled out on the floor. Nothing will develop of that, but it's going to be St. Catharines ball.
Gates trying to draw a penalty there, holding on to, I believe it was Lebeck's stick. So as Lebeck was trying to pull it, Gates fell backwards to make it look like he'd been cross-checked. It's an old trick, and when you got old referees, they don't fall for the old tricks.
For sure, old, so you know all the old tricks.
Exactly.
Here's Craig Kahn being hammered. Dumps it off into the far corner. Sean Greenhall picks it up. A's have 12 on the shot clock. Greenhall winds one in. Rebound for Dean, but he missed the near post. Now it's scooped up by the Lakers. Quickly back over mid-floor. Here's Jeff Snyder. Snyder heads over to the left side. Tried to cut around Dave Bowman. Now spins back into the corner. Snyder still has it far circle. Now gets it near side Wyndon. Wyndon dumps it off near circle. Back up high. Lindsey Plunkett tried to get it into the high slot for Hansen, but it was knocked away. And St. Catharines will take over as Mark Steenhouse is taken down in behind the A's goal. Here's Craig Kahn. He'll lead this rush for St. Catharines. 13:35 to go here in the third period. St. Catharines leading Burnaby 5-3. Lakers lead the series 2-1. Now Mike Homenak, far circle. Drops it off up high. Craig Kahn now in tight, but Greg Flores couldn't handle it as he stepped into the crease. The Lakers move it right back down the floor. Here's Gary Biddingen. Takes the shot. Big save by Matty Vince.
Big stop there with that breakout pass coming over to Binning. Throws up that left arm. Fortunately, Binning touched it while it was in the crease, so there wasn't any kind of a second chance coming up there. St. Catharines really needs a goal here soon. They haven't scored for quite a while here. They've let Burnaby come back with 3 straight. You want to get on the board here, basically to reestablish how many more goals that Burnaby has to score. Right now, they still need 3 more during the game, but you can bring that up to 4. You're in good position.
Look at this effort by Steenhouse. No goal. His foot was in the crease. What an effort by Steenhouse, though, spinning and turning and ragging, and then he snuck into the low slot and fired the shot inside the far post, but the toe of his shoe was in the crease, so no goal.
And if he was wearing blue shoes instead of red shoes, it might have slipped by, but not hard to miss wearing the footwork that he's got on.
The pace certainly has picked up here, Andrew.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that's too much in St. Catharines' favor here, is they might want to be slowing this down a bit, making sure of themselves on defense, and then trying to use that defensive transition on the turnovers instead of just letting the fast breaks come down. The problem with allowing fast breaks is when you pick up the ball, you can't swing it back the other way quite as quickly.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think they need to speed things up and get back to the pace that put them out in front 5-0. They've tried to slow it down since they took that lead, and it's cost them 3 goals. Here's Craig Kahn up high. A's have a full shot clock to work with. Comes in. Now Flores takes the shot. Lashon doesn't know where it is. I thought it actually bounced into the net, but I don't think so. It's caught up in his equipment. Burnaby very fortunate there, Andrew.
They're having some serious shot clock problems here. It doesn't never seem to be happening when Burnaby has the ball. When St. Catharines has the ball, the shot clock isn't starting. I don't think that's on purpose, but it may just be the matter of the switching the way it's going on right now.
I don't
we
know.
got a
It's the same
moving
switch that
picture.
controls both clocks. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but it might be that if it only works every second time you click it. Hey, I don't know. I really doubt that they're not turning the clock on purpose. So.
And maybe the timekeepers are hoping for a St. Catharines goal and they're otherwise occupied watching. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt, though.
Well, I was going mechanical. So there's no human error whatsoever.
Here's Nadad Geitch. He'll carry it up the left side. 11:15 to go in the third period. The lead for St. Catharines is 2. Burnaby, though, has come on with 3 straight goals. St. Catharines takes over. Here's Dave Bowman, far corner. Gets it near side, Pat Russell. Russell back to Bowman up along the right wing. Dave Bowman, a member of the Ontario Hockey League's Windsor Spitfires.
And a sniper tonight.
Yeah, first of the year. Here's Jamie Flores, drops it off Craig Codd. On far side, Mike Hominick. Inside that circle, spins it back to Greenhall. Greenhall heading into the net, 1 second on the clock. He got a nice shot away considering time was running out. The A's have a new shot clock now. The question is, can they grab the loose ball? The answer is no. Kilby actually was able to get it out to mid-floor before St. Catharines touched up, but it's going to be Burnaby's possession with 10.5 to go in the third.
Good job by Kilby to follow along there. Make sure he's got it tracked down.
Here's Taylor Ray sneaking in. Oh boy, what a lane. The rebound comes out in front. And oh my, what a save by Matt Vince. Andrew Gwindon looking for more. He nearly cut the lead to 1. Burnaby, nice possession here. They get the ball back. They've got 24 on the shot clock. Finally, they give it away, and it's to Greg Flores. Moves it down the floor. Kahn chasing it, but it takes a couple of strange hops into the far corner, and Burnaby able to recover. Now Nick Farina. He'll head right over top of mid-floor and then drop it off to Lindsey Plunkett, heading off the Burnaby bench. 9:45 to go in the third period. Here's Plunkett near side. Sure could use some of that offensive flurry he had in game number 1. 4 goals and 1 assist for Plunkett. And the Gators Pro Shot Warrior Lacrosse player of the game. Nice effort there by the captain, Dan Bowman, to get that ball away from 2 Burnaby defenders. He'll work it back deep into St. Catharines territory, and they freeze the pucks at hockey before the game. I think they have to freeze this ball because it's taking some strange hops here in the third.
Nice job by Bowman there to pick up that ball and then throw it back. Unfortunately, Levesque and the other St. Catharines player got tied up on who was going to pick it up, and unfortunately rolls all the way down the corner. Basically kills what kind of momentum they had on that play, but still a good job to slow Burnaby down for 30 seconds.
St. Catharines much more aggressive now, Andrew. We'll see if that pays dividends or costs them in the long run. Now Gwindon near side. He has played very well tonight. Steps back, drops it off now. Brown goes far side. Brown tried to receive the pass up the near boards, but it bounces as McKinnon trips up. He gets right back and fires the shot in. Rebound in front, but it's popped into the air as Lemke tried to get it in behind Matt Vincent. Good thing that his stick was knocked right at the last moment.
Nice play by Donnelly to keep track of the player in front of the crease with the shot clock winding down. Keep track of where that stick is. Make sure that ball doesn't go anywhere near the net.
Here's Steenhouse. He's been dangerous all night long, as Lionel Richie would say. Gets it over to Kahn, but his shot goes wide. Rebound up the left side. Steenhouse in there fighting for it with Kahn, Farina, and Plunkett. And St. Catharines will hold on to it. 8:11 to go in the period. Kahn's got it. Takes a couple of nice cross checks from Farina as they renew their battle that we saw in game number 1. Now Kahn's got it up high. 8:08 to go in the period. Very patient, gets it into the near corner. Flores back up high to Steenhouse. Steenhouse, nice pass to Greg Flores, who tried to pick the low side of that right post, but he couldn't get it in behind Andrew Lachon. Here's Jamie Flores now. Gets it up high to Craig Kahn. Looking for a lane or looking for a man. Makes the pass, holds onto it. Now gets it far side for Flores. Back to Kahn up high. A's have 16 on the shot clock. Now Kahn spinning around, has a lane, cuts in, bounces it in, but it bounced just wide of the near post, and Burnaby will hold on to it. Quickly back down the floor. Here's Lindsey Plunkett heading in. Plunkett trying to get loose, taken down. It bounced out of his stick and just wide of the far goal post. Matt Vince getting a bit fortunate there, but a good effort by the St. Catharines defense to come back and cover up.
Very nice strip as they track Plunkett down, right down towards the crease. Guessed the move, caught a piece of the stick, turned it into not much of anything. They got to get Sean Greenhall involved in this offense here now. He hasn't really been existent since the earlier stages of the first period. He's got to be a go-to guy here because nobody else is really getting much done.
Here's Benicia, drops it off Ham, spinning around Andrew. He tried to outdo himself. He had that picture-perfect goal in the first. He tried to get another one here in the third.
It's like the third round of the NBA Slam Dunk competition where you got to make sure no matter what you did in the first one, it gets better and better.
Now here's Benning, looking for some room, spins to the near side. Steenhouse all over him. Benning trying to get away from Steenhouse, but he won't be able to do it. And we've got a stoppage in play. Steenhouse throws his arms up in the air as if to say, I tried to keep my hands off him, ref.
Which he didn't really. I think he knew where his stick was, and I think when he first started to complain, he thought he might have drawn a penalty.
So the lead, it remains at 5-3 for the A's, looking to tie this series tonight. Big shot from the far side, but it's knocked away. Matty Vince will hold on to it. Now 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go in period number 3. Be sure to stay with us. Coming up after tonight's game, we'll have the Gatters Pro Shop Warrior Lacrosse Player of the Game. As well, we'll look ahead to game number 5 coming up Thursday night. Here's Mike Homenuck, far circle, drops it off high. Now Greg Flores works it over to Greenhall. Andrew says they need to get Greenhall involved. Here he is, staking in. Had a lane, but cuts back to the outside. Now loses it. It bounces high in the air in behind the Burnaby goal. Picked up by Nick Farina. Jamie Flores all over him, but Andrew Leishon running a bit of interference. Wide open net. Tom can't corral it. He had a wide open goal, Andrew. A very heads-up play by Jamie Flores. They shoot. They score! Craig Kahn does it again with 5:40 to go. He extends the lead back to 3 goals. Wow! What a play by Kahn.
Get a look here. We're going to blame this one on Andrew Leishon, and I'm sorry to say it, but you can see that this ball, I'm not sure how far back we are here, as Craig Kahn finally picks it up after Farina had just slightly picked up the rebound, comes in and takes the shot. But the reason the ball is down there is Leishon goes into the back and tries to throw a bit of a pick on Craig Kahn. Or no, it wasn't Craig Kahn, it was the other St. Catharines player. The ball comes loose. Leishon's taking his time getting back to the net. So that turns into a scramble right in front of the Burnaby net as Craig Kahn's trying to corral that loose ball, throw it into the empty net. The whole defense trying to adapt to that instead of what should have just been a regular breakout going on there. And as a result, everybody's kind of back on their heels. Nobody's in position. They get to strip the ball off Farina, who's trying to figure out what's going on. Craig Kahn goes in and scores. That's a big, huge goal.
Very big goal for Craig Kahn, who has, again, seen himself on the score sheet numerous times tonight. Some good reasons, some bad reasons. This one definitely a great reason. And with 5:40 to go in game number 4, the A's have a 3-goal lead. And boy, that must be deflating for the Burnaby Lakers.
Now this is, I think, bad time management going on here. We've got a 3-goal deficit for Burnaby here, and the way this game's going, we're not invoking any rule here. Now, Bill Fox, one of the referees, is headed back into the dressing room to take care of something.
Keep in mind, guys, our next game coming up this Thursday, August the 30th at 8 p.m. live on Cogeco TV 10. Derek Wills, Andrew McKay, and Chris Drennan will call the action for you. And it will be, by the looks of things, a tie series, so we're going to break it down to a best of 3, Andrew.
No, I think let's finish this thought here just for a moment because I was thinking.
Finish.
Bill Fox is in the dressing room, so they're 1 referee short right now. So this is a free timeout to either team. St. Catharines doesn't need it, but Burnaby does. And instead, their players are just kind of wandering around the middle, looking to get this face-off going again. This could have been a free timeout to try and set things up. No, they've got 2 left. They haven't used any yet, but you don't want these guys at this point wandering around thinking to themselves. You want to get their minds straightened out. But this may be a matter of, and I'm not going to say there's any giving up whatsoever, but a matter of maybe these guys have to get this totally out of their system here heading into Thursday night, into Game 5, as Derek Moffat mentioned before. These guys haven't been the same team that they saw all year at the beginning of the series, and they hope that they're going to come out with a different team on Thursday.
St. Catharines, they have looked impressive tonight, Andrew. There's no doubt about it. They had that small little lapse. I wouldn't even call it a lapse. I'd call it more of a offensive brain freeze when they decided we've got a 5-goal lead, we're just going to play defense. That's what got them in trouble in the first 2 games. But they've gone back to that run and gun style, the high octane play, and it certainly has paid off for them. It's been a completely different game here in the second half of the third period as opposed to what we saw since they took that 5-0 lead.
And I can't even pretend to know how well Burnaby has been, but one good sign you can see here is they're going to be tied at 2-2, and they haven't even played a good game yet, in my estimation.
Here's
They've played
Panicia.
good games for this competition, but they haven't played the games that we saw all season, and when they do, Burnaby's going to be in for a bit of a shock.
And to me, it looks like Burnaby's running a bit out of gas, so we'll keep a close eye on that as well. Lakers, though, trying to narrow that deficit. It's 3 right now. Still lots of time to go, and they pulled the goaltender. Here comes the 6th attacker in Gary Binning. Binning gets the pass up high, winds the shot in, but Matt Vince able to get the left leg out there to make the stop. Back down the floor, wide open net for Billy D. Smith. Takes the shot, and he scores! And you can put this game on ice. The Athletics are going to tie the series. Billy D. Smith gives them a 4-goal lead with 4:35 to go in the third period.
Beautiful presence of mind by the entire Athletics team there, covering up on defense, making sure that the player at the back, Benning, who's taking that shot from the outside, gets knocked down, because he's the guy responsible for getting back to the bench to cover up so that Leishon can run back. He can't do it when he's lying on his stomach. He gets knocked down. You got the breakout pass to Billy D. Smith. There's really nobody to get back to the bench in time. And instead, there goes Leishon flying back into the net. Now Nick Patterson's going to head into the net.
And we saw Nick Patterson make a similar save last night when he was on the bench, came running back towards the net, dove, stopped the shot, but that was pretty much luck. It wasn't going to happen twice.
Well, I think what we're looking at here is, again, really, there's no timeout situation going on here with the coaches teaching too much, just a bit of a chat. And as I mentioned, they've got 2 timeouts left, so I don't think this is a stalling tactic, really. I do think probably what they're doing is they're saying 7-3, let's get Andrew some rest. Hasn't had the greatest of 2 nights. He's played very well. Hasn't got a lot of help from his teammates on the back end. 17 goals in 2 games now after a very strong first couple of games. And I think this is more a matter of we're just going to let Andrew come back and chill out, and then we'll see how this goes along from there.
Okay, now we've got a question to be answered. Before tonight's game, I spoke with both the general manager, a couple of players, and the coach for the Burnaby Lakers, and the general feeling with them was they were going to go back to the guy that won games 1 and 2 for them, Andrew Leishon, but after a poor performance in the majority of game number 3, a poor performance here in game 4, I think they've got a big decision to make, Andrew. Nick Patterson, in his time, although he came in with no pressure, he came in a game that was far over. He has played well, though. That's the bottom line. And this coaching staff, if for no other reason, to give these players on the bench a spark, because they definitely need something to get underneath their skin right now, they may put Nick Patterson in there to start game number 5 and see what happens.
I completely disagree for a couple of reasons. First of all, up until 2 minutes ago, this game was totally in question. Leishon, not much help in the first period, a totally flat team. He'd only given up 5 goals the whole game. Gives up 1 late one. I'm not counting the empty netter against him. And the second one is, as Derek Moffat was saying, if his team's coming out flat, not putting out the same amount of effort, the worst thing you want to do here is pull the goalie, kind of make it look like, hey, it was the goalie's fault, it's not your fault. You got to put the pressure where it belongs, on their shoulders, because Leishon has been saving their butt for 4 games, and they're not performing for him. They could have been up much higher, and instead, they're going out 2-2 here. Well, he's been playing his tail off.
Well said. Lakers back down the floor, searching for something to try to give them some momentum heading into game number 5. They're going to need Magnum PI working for them if they're going to find it here tonight. St. Catharines will take over now, 4:09 to go. Patterson sprinting back into that Burnaby net. St. Catharines making some changes. They've got the top unit on the floor now, Sean Greenhall, Jamie Flores, Craig Kahn, Greg Flores, and Mike Hominack.
Sticking again, this Patterson change might also be a matter of him maybe being faster and having a better breakout stick, so maybe not as good on the goaltending end, but more likely if there's a turnover to be able to get the ball down the floor in a hurry.
Here's Flores sliding into the net. He took a shot, actually, just before he went flying into the crease. As Patterson heads out, he'll lead the breakout on his way to the bench, drops it off to Brown. Brown moves his way down the right side, stops top of the near circle. Now up high to Olsen. Back to Brown near side. Got it inside, but it bounced away from Kevin Fines. Back into the near corner. Miyashita has it knocked away. Nice job there by Dave Bowman. Now back to Olsen. High slot. His pass for Fines again. Knocked into the corner. Billy D. Smith trying to knock it free. Nice job again by Dave Bowman. Now a break for the A's, but Bowman very smartly will stop up and kill some time off this game clock. 3:05 to go in the period.
Now the question is, what's going to happen if Matt Vince gets his hands on the ball? Scored a goal earlier in the playoffs. It was a bit of a garbage goal. So 10 seconds later, he decided to take a shot himself, go for another one. The worst way you can get under Burnaby's skin right now and wake him up is to have the goalie try to score a goal with a 4-goal lead, 2.5 minutes left.
If I was Don Smith, I'd send one of my guys out there to make sure he doesn't do that. Loose ball in front and swatted over top of the Burnaby net. Lakers corral it. They'll head quickly back up over mid-floor. Taking it ahead is Snyder. He's mauled by a couple of athletics, namely Billy D. Smith and John Donnelly, a couple of big guys you don't want to get tangled up with. Lakers, though, able to hold on to possession. Now 2:21 to go in the third period. Here's Brown, top of the near circle. Olsen, back to Brown, being guarded by Steenhouse. Tried to get it far side, big shot in. But Geitz just missed the near post. Lakers, though, doing a nice job on this offensive setup, getting rebounds. Comes back to Olsen, winds a hard shot in, but Vince able to knock that one away. And Matt Vince, something he's done very well so far in this series, Andrew, is try to find that ball in traffic. He's been able to get an eye on it, especially in the last couple of games, and it certainly has paid off for the St. Catharines Athletics.
Hasn't given up a lot of rebounds and second chances so far. The ones that have turned out have been more a problem of his team trying to come up with the ball.
And again, a shot fired off the score clock here.
Fortunately, the whistle had been blown, so Matt gets to try it again. And I think Matt actually might have been shooting for the net on that one, so.
This time he just bounces it ahead to Billy D. Smith. That's safer. Now Smith near side to Kahn. 1:30 to go here in the third period. We'll see if the crowd gets into it to take the A's home and lead them into game 5. Kahn being mauled by Snyder, gets loose. Now he's hammered on his way towards the Burnaby goal. Ball comes loose. Patterson playing leapfrog over top of Craig Kahn.
Jeff Snyder basically has Kahn directly in his targets right now. You can see he's just kind of stalking him, and he's going to give him a shot every time he can. Smart move. Kahn heading back to the bench. No need to have him on the floor for the next minute, 10 seconds.
I'm not sure Steenhouse is the guy to replace him with either.
Well, the problem is, because Kahn got the expulsion last night, if he gets another one, he gets suspended for a game. So you don't want to get a position here where things get stupid and you get a double roughing minor, because then he's out for game 5, and that's not something you can afford to have happen.
Now Patterson with a bit of a cheap shot on Mike Hominick in behind the Burnaby goal. Now Hominick with a little left hand. And we've got some pushing and shoving ensuing, and let's hope this doesn't develop into anything. Kilby out there, he's right in the middle of it, talking with Mike Hominick. Hominick's, I'm sure, telling him, hey, look at the score clock. Yep. Matter of fact, he is, because you saw him gesture up to the score clock. That's the best comeback you can have.
Yeah.
Look, we're winning 7-3. 35 seconds to go. Don't be milking out. Now under half a minute to go, and the A's fans are into this one now, Andrew. They're going to take their guys home here in game 4. What a performance tonight for Don Smith and his lacrosse team, but we've got a timeout. Actually, nope.
Shot clock expired.
A's are just going to milk that shot clock as much as they possibly can. 15 seconds to go, and I think we can invoke the Andrew McKay 15-second rule. Here come the Lakers, one last gasp, trying to get something to hold on to heading into the dressing room before game 5. Now Snyder near side, Benning winds the shot in, and that will do it. The St. Catharines Athletics down 2 games to nothing, have won 2 straight, 10-5 last night, 7-3 tonight, and oh boy, the A's are rolling.
And the most important part of this is the first 2 games Burnaby took, they were up in the air the entire time. A double overtime victory and then a 2-goal win. And now instead, you've got St. Catharines coming out with very strong, dominant performances over 2 games. It might have been in a bit of question there in the third period, but coming back with the 6th goal and then the empty netter to really salt this one away with less than 5 minutes left. Joined now by Chris Drennan. Chris, this is really what St. Catharines needs, especially because of the day off. While Burnaby can go back and regroup a bit, now it's 5 days removed basically from their most recent successes. At the time they hit the floor on Thursday night, last weekend's going to be a distant memory, and they're not going to remember the last time they beat St. Catharines.
Well, I think the fact of the matter is Burnaby's going to be going to their hotel, second-guessing themselves. They're going to be going to wherever they go tomorrow, second-guessing themselves. Burnaby is not the team we saw Friday and Saturday night. They are a rattled team. They are a team that needs to do something to, get it together. And I don't think, sending out your tough guy to start a fight to get the guys motivated is what they need to do.
Now, one thing that, however, I'm going to give Burnaby credit for, they have a lot of experienced players who've been here before, a lot of guys who are 20, 21 years old. And you think of players like Fines and Olsen and Hansen and Snyder. And it's going to be, I think, a little easier for them to kind of refocus themselves coming into this. However, what they're looking at here is a best of 3 basically now. The first 2 games they won are moot. They mean nothing anymore. And now you got to refocus yourself on the fact that you've been here for a week for really no reason, because now you're playing a best out of 3.
Well, I think, as you said, the experience on the Burnaby team will help them. But, I mean, just watching, Fines, Olsen, and Lindsey Plunkett, these are all last-year guys. And, frankly, they're running around out there like rookies. They're rattled. Lindsey Plunkett has been taking stupid penalties. Same with Kevin Fines. And I think that if those 3 do not, get back on track, this series could very easily be over Friday night. But I'm not going to count Burnaby out yet, just for the simple fact that you don't win 6 straight BC championships for no good reason.
Third star of the game, Mike Hominick from St. Catharines. Second star, Mark Yashida from Burnaby, number 19, the captain, showing something we hadn't seen the first 3 games, some offensive flair tonight, really creating some stuff down in the offensive end. A key goal here, and now the Gathers Pro Shop warrior of the game, Matt Vince. And as has been the case so long this season, when you need a win, you need Matt Vince to really backstop it for you and to turn these things on for you. Craig Kahn with 2 key goals, but when you need that win, Matt Vince comes up strong, and he did so very much in the 3rd period there. He bent, but he didn't break. Another strong performance by Matt. And something that Derek Moffat mentioned in the first intermission, that they're kind of frustrated by everything else they can do. They don't know how to beat him right now.
Well, no, Matt is, right now for Burnaby, Matt's an enigma wrapped in a puzzle, wrapped in a...
Tortilla.
Yes.
How's
Thank
that?
you. Thank you for the save.
You're
No,
welcome.
Matt Vince is standing on his head. This just goes to show why Matt Vince is considered one of the best goaltenders in Ontario, if not Canada, to hold the offensive powerhouse of Burnaby to 3 goals over 60 minutes. It's impressive. You can't help but be impressed by Matt Vince's play. And another thing that did, bode really, really well for St. Catharines was the fact that they were getting offense from all over the place. When you have Dave Bowman scoring his first goal in the year in a big Minto Cup game, which, by the way, win, lose, or draw will be my memory of the Minto Cup. But they're getting offense from everywhere. The defense is tightening up, and I honestly think that the Athletics can do this. And I think Derek is ready with Mike Hominick. We'll send it down to Derek. Derek?
Tonight for the St. Catharines Athletics, 7-3. They even up the best of 7 2001 Minto Cup at 2 wins apiece. Game number 5 coming up this Thursday night. We're now talking to the 3rd star this evening, number 90, Mike Hominick. And Mox, what a performance tonight. 2 great games in a row for the A's. What was the thing that turned this whole series around for you guys?
I don't know. I think it's our defense and our number 1 star over there, Matt Vince. They've been shutting the door for us, and when the offense gets the chance to score, we're scoring, not like the first 2 games.
You mentioned the fact that you give credit to the defense, but obviously Matt Vince has been the story so far in this series. Even in the 2 losses, Vince played very well, didn't he?
Oh, yes. You got to give him all the credit in the world. He got MVP of the league, I believe, and he got another award. But I think he's probably the best goalie in Canada, and it shows out there tonight.
And obviously the offense has really stepped up the last couple of games. Even tonight, you could see, once you got that 5-goal lead, you tried to play more defensively. It didn't seem to work for you. You gave Burnaby an in back into this game. But then once that third goal was scored by Burnaby, it was almost like a switch was turned on. The offense came back. This game went right back your way. It seems when the A's can control the pace, they can control the game. That's what happened not only early tonight, but late tonight.
Yeah, well, we're getting everyone scoring now, like even Dave Bowman. I think that's his first goal all year. Yeah, it's nice to see that everyone's scoring now and finally putting in our chances. If you keep on doing that, I think we'll take this series.
I know you want to get into the room to celebrate with the guys, but obviously you've got to try to concentrate on Game 5 coming up Thursday night. You've got a day off to try to rest up a little bit before you get in to maybe the most pivotal game of this series. The Athletics obviously have the momentum, but you can say that for Burnaby after game number 2. So what is the outlook for St. Catharines heading into Game 5 on Thursday?
Oh, good. I think we got the momentum now in the series, right? And if we keep on shutting door with Maddie over there and we keep on scoring on our chances, I think we'll take it.
Mike, another great game tonight. Congratulations. Best of luck on Thursday.
Thanks a lot.
Mike Hominick of the St. Catharines Athletics will now bring in the Gathers Pro Shop Warrior Lacrosse player of the game. It was showtime tonight for number 48, Matt Vince. He led in 3 goals. Matt, unbelievable performance tonight. You played well throughout the series. I know Game 1 and 2 were disappointing for you. As well as you played, they were losses, but all of a sudden, this is a best-of-3 series now, and you've got to feel great after a victory tonight.
Oh, for sure. We knew that if we could pull out Game 3, we would have a chance in this series, and we just had to know that we could beat these guys, and so far we've shown that, and it's not over yet. We still have to win 2 more games, and it's going to be a hard-fought battle.
Mike Hominick mentioned that he gave credit to the defense for the wins in the last couple of games, and we saw how strong the St. Catharines defense could be, especially in the second half of the season when it was less run and gun, more defense. But obviously in the first couple of games yourself, you played well, the defense played well, didn't allow that many goals, only 14 combined goals in the first 2 games, but the offense just couldn't seem to find their stride. But now that you've been able to control the pace in the last 2 games, the offense is clicking, the defense is clicking, of course the goaltender is clicking, so you guys got to feel very confident heading into Game 5 on Thursday.
Oh, sure, for sure. The whole thing what we had to do was we had to score goals, and we started getting down on ourselves, thinking we couldn't score goals. And as soon as we got out to that hot first period last game, we broke that barrier, and we started getting in their minds a bit, maybe broke a little bit of their confidence, and we got the momentum our way.
And speaking with Don Smith before tonight's game, he said to me, if they come out and try to goon it up again, they're going to find out really quickly that we know how to play lacrosse, and we know how to play lacrosse better than they know how to play lacrosse. And it looked as though Burnaby came out and actually did try to do that, tried to push you guys around a little bit, but you're not going to back down, are you?
No, we're a pretty physical team ourselves, but I think when they try to goon it up, players like Craig Kahn, they feed off that, and they just makes them play a little better, and just gives a little fuel to the fire, so to say.
The series is far from over, as you mentioned, but obviously you have to be feeling very confident, feel as though you're on a roll. Burnaby looks like they're tiring a little bit, maybe feeling the effects of not only the plane ride, but the climate change. So heading into Game 5, you got to feel if you can get the victory there's a possibility you could run 4 straight wins off.
Oh, for sure. If the series goes longer, it just benefits us because it doesn't really change anything that we've had to do for the rest of the season. But they've had to come in here and sleep in hotels for over a week now, so they're basically getting out of their comfort zone, and we're just basically going stride by stride.
Matt, it's so much fun to watch you play. When you get into the game, you're hopping around out there. It's great. Another great game for you tonight. Congratulations and best of luck to you and the A's on Thursday.
Thank you very much.
Matt Vince, our Gathers Pro Shop Warrior Lacrosse player of the game tonight. Unbelievable. Only allowed 3 goals against the Western Canadian champions, and that's basically all you need to say. So the A's win tonight. They won last night. This series is now tied at 2 games apiece. It's a best-of-3 national final at this point. St. Catharines has all the momentum in the world. Burnaby, though, you could say they held all the momentum in the world after Game 1 and 2 victories, so who knows which way this series is going to go. You got to find out right here on Cogeco TV 10. Keep in mind, Game 5 coming up this Thursday night, live from the Jack Gatecliff Garden City Arena here in St. Catharines. St. Catharines and Burnaby tied at 2 games apiece. It's going to be a fun ride to the 2001 Minto Cup Championship, and it was a great ride tonight for the St. Catharines Junior A Athletics. They get the victory tonight, 7-3. Matt Vince, the Warrior Lacrosse Gathers Pro Shop player of the game, only allowing 3 goals. What a performance. It was certainly showtime for tonight for Matty Vince. That'll just about do it tonight from the Jack Gatecliff Garden City Arena. So for our entire broadcast crew, including Andrew McKay and Chris Drennan, I'm Derek Wills. We look forward to seeing you for Game 5 on Thursday night, live on Cogeco TV 10 at 8 p.m. Until then, good night, everybody.